and there is a little delay on my part. So, all right. What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Evil Black Cats? I see you're in the chat here. Anybody else who might be watching tonight? We have co-creator of Unholy Nightmare, Dolan Waddick, or Drew, as you see him over on Thinking Critical, or whatever else you're called these days.
Jerk, asshole, whatever else you want to call me. Yeah, for my picks. Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah, the other guy. I think Richard Meyer referred to me as the other guy one time. Doing the best picks with Wes.
That used to be my pronouns at Twitter. Hey, asshole. Hey, that guy. You know.
I think they still are, but you know.
I don't know if I changed them or not, but they used to be. What's going on, man? I see you got a new book coming out tomorrow from Mutant Farms, which is, I believe, you started that up in, or at least someone did, started up in April of this year. I'm not sure who. Who the creator is.
What's that?
I'm not sure who created it because when I clicked on it earlier, I had the project creator and I didn't recognize the name.
Okay, yeah, Aurelio Mazzara is probably the other name. Yeah, that's the artist. Yeah, he's the artist from Born of Blood. He was my partner on that book, and we started working on this back in like April, and he was working with my scripts for Born of Blood that he wanted to keep working with me, and he was sending me all these sketches in preliminary art for different characters. He's like, I got this idea for this Spider-Man John Wick character. I got this idea for Dracula. I got this idea for this Italian folklore crazy girl. I got this idea for this. I'm like, okay, this is great. I don't know what you want me with this, but I'm busy enough as it is. Like at that point, I was writing, I think, 4 scripts at that point, and he dropped the bomb on me, like saying, like, yeah, he wanted to work with me on this new comic or whatever. He wanted me to write it with all these new characters, and I was saying to myself, don't agree to anything, don't say yes, just talk with them and we'll just go from there. And the more we started fleshing out the characters, the backstory, and like the motivations, where we wanted to take place, and I just said to myself, damn it, we got something here. Crap.
Yeah, I saw the cover you showed me and it fits the title, Unholy Nightmare. Let me post the early show here. Share the cover here. It is kind of creepy. Where is it here?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
He's pulling it up. Oh, I was gonna say,
is this a variant or is that the main?
That's gonna be cover B for the book, I believe.
All right. That is literally Spider-Man turning into a man spider. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, and you may think that's the worst that's going to happen to him. No, it only gets worse. But yeah, the premise of the book that we wanted to do for this was that it's heroes becoming monsters to take down evil monsters. So we have these characters. This superhero John Wick type Spider-Man guy, the Recluse, and then we have Jenny, who's an undercover cop, and we have both these people who, throughout the book, eventually, but around the halfway point, they turn into monsters themselves. That's gonna be the twist. I mean, I'm spoiling it right now, but I mean, this is our first book, and what people know what they're in store for. I mean, when it opens up, there's cover A by Andrew Mangum right there.
Yeah,
and it starts off, you think it's going to be a typical comic book drug bust comic. You know, they're busting up bad guys. But when you get to the halfway point, that's when the twist happens. And that's when we're like, what is going on here? What are we in store for? And then by the time you get to the end, it's like, what is this whole new world we're introduced to here? And we just wanted to not hold back on the action, the horror, the violence. We wanted this to be full throttle, just like we did for Born of Blood. Just you're going to get every bang for your buck.
Why censor it? It's a comic book for adults, obviously not. Well, I wouldn't say for kids. Yeah, it's for obviously Born of Blood I would not recommend for anybody under 18.
But I would say honestly, this book, Unholy Nightmare, like I said, I've read through it several times at this point. But I would think with the the violence and gore, a teenager could handle this. I honestly believe so.
Yeah, I'm just going through these. It's just like I love the art. This is the same. This is the same artist, or is this someone else?
Oh, this is a different artist. This is Jennifer. This is Jen Leonard. Jennifer Leonard right here. She's done covers for Merck Publishing, Born of Blood. She's done covers for Zenoscope. So she loved Giaras and Born of Blood. She wanted to do a cover for this, and I was not going to say her. So we came up with like an Animorph type cover for this.
That's what I was going. 90s Animorph. I kept.
Yes. Yeah.
That's awesome. And then who's the artist for this one?
So there are two artists involved with this. Both of these gentlemen are friends of Aurelio Mazzara. They're artists themselves. I had never heard of them before introduced me to them. And now after talking with these guys, I'm like, I want to work with these guys again. Alex Venutelli and Petrigno Gaetano, or Gaetano Petrigno. They're Italian and just do the best they can. But they made this. They killed this one. I absolutely love this one, and we're actually doing 3 covers for this one. We got a trade dress, a virgin, and a gold foil variant we're gonna do.
I just noticed that there's like legs coming up behind her.
Yep.
That is. I at first I saw like, oh, it's Medusa, but then I'm like, no, there's like bronze legs, part of her costume.
Yeah. So this is all part of. Yeah. So she's going to be introduced in issue 2, but so issue 1 is technically a key because it's going to be the cover's going to be her first appearance. But she's based on Italian folklore. If you look at like some aspects of the the flag of Sicily, this design shows up on there, and Aurelio was just sending me all of this backstory and historical references for this design. Came from. I'm like, well, I was like, how about we make her a woman who's possessed by a demon, a young girl possessed by a demon, and there we go.
I was hoping for like the museum, curator who just got disgruntled, turned herself into a villain.
There may be more characters in the future we're gonna have fun with on that aspect. We'll see what happens. And there's one right now. We just got it's almost finished. It's almost finished, but that's being cut. The covers are being finished right now. This is Aurelio's cover right here. The interior artist himself, co-creator, and
nice.
He killed it.
It's like a Nightman / Spider-Man Animorph.
Yeah,
because definitely when I go back to that second, I think it's this cover here, the main cover. I noticed he's got it almost looks like the Spider-Man Deadshot gauntlets. You remember they did a What If a couple years ago? And I love Deadshot's gauntlets on his. And I'm sorry, LK.
No, that's what. Yeah, it's something familiar, something you can be able to call back to, something you recognize. So,
because you can tell, you kind of look like you kind of see like the web pattern, and you see that. But it's almost like an amalgam instead of like I said. I'm just waiting for the saxophone to come out. I love now. Just do a callback to Nightman from Malibu.
Nightman.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who saw that and went, God, it looks a little familiar.
What was it? Was it Johnny Domino? Was that his name?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, that Sweet Ride. Yeah.
The greatest television show of all time.
Having that Plymouth Prowler. Yeah.
I'm still mad that Marvel shelved the characters. I would love to see people take a new approach to them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would love to have a crack at Prime or Sludge, especially
look at Mantra. Mantra is the most virtue signaling character you could have. A guy trapped inside a woman's body.
Yeah.
But we could probably do a 3-hour show on all the characters that Marvel has bought and shelved over the last couple of decades.
But nothing hurts the most like Malibu.
Yeah.
All right. So look at some interior art here too as well.
Yeah. So Drew, is this the second title that you've created, or have there been others?
This is the second I've created. Yeah. So Born of Blood was the first, and this is the second. This is the one that I'm taking co-creator credits with Aurelio, and this was it was just it's so funny how things just snowball so quickly. You know, it's like Aurelio and I were not expecting this to happen so quickly, but especially Aurelio. But like he knows now I'm very proactive, and it's like if we're gonna do this, we're doing this. It's like and right now as the publisher for this, I mean we're the self-publishers through Mutant Farm, and I'm more or less keeping everyone on task. You know, making sure everyone's hitting their deadlines, and that's been fun in a way. Not really.
Yeah, because with Born of Blood, did you do that through Merc, or was that another self-publish?
Yeah, that was through Merc. Okay. I was asked to come up with to create this new character that they had in mind, and came up with Giaris and the backstory, the whole run, their weapons back. That was all me, but this was just but with that, you know, it was more since it was through Merc, they already had everything in place, you know, for the art teams. They had fulfillment centers. Everything was already established, so there really wasn't much risk. But with this, yeah, it's just Aurelio and I. There's a lot of risk.
I want to say I'm loving this. This is the opening page, right?
That's correct. Yep.
I love this. It kind of has that 90s dark feel. Like, you know, it's like how you're looking from the ground up and you see him coming down, and then you get to see the full moon. It's just like, this is just screaming Halloween to me. Like a 90s Batman. You got, you know, or just anything like, you know, 90s hardcore cartoon openings. Even remember Ninja Turtles had that in the very beginning of their cartoon intro. Same stuff. Yeah. I love that perspective. You know,
yeah, it's like that's one thing. Like I love, like Aurelio and I both love. We love having shots in the books where it's like they're unique angles. They're not flat angles. I hate flat angles, and it's like I want the lack of a better term, I want the camera pointing up. I want the camera going down. I want it from the side. I want a Dutch tilt. It's like things are going to be at unique angles. You know, very dynamic. And that's what I love about working with Aurelio, because he is very open to that. And if I think I have a good idea, he typically has a better idea. It's like, all right, I love it.
Well, get Gil Kane on here. Gil Kane loves those up shots, the nose.
Yeah.
He's a great one.
Yeah. Man. So now is this first issue, is this going to be like a standard 22 pages, or are we getting a larger book here to start out?
So this is going to be 26 pages.
Okay.
For this. Eventually, if this is successful, what we're planning on is like we already have the whole first arc, the whole first 6 issues already planned out. I already got issue 2 through 6 already plotted what's going to happen, and but what we're going to include, if this is, like I said, if this is successful with the subsequent issues, we're going to include some back matter in the back of the book. So with that being said, we're going to have origin stories, each of the issues for some of the characters. So we're going to have a recluse story issue in the back. We're going to have a Trinea story. We're going to have a Jenny origin. We're going to have one of the characters we're going to be introducing is the Golem. We're going to have a Golem in issue 2 and through 6. We're going to introduce him. I can't wait to write that. We're going to have his backstory, and so it give you more bang for your buck as well down the road.
Yeah, I noticed that Born of Blood, you had the Kickstarters, but then you also had it going through Linear Publishing as well as that. So
yeah,
is this going to go through going to the comic book stores like Born of Blood, or is this going to go exclusively on Kickstarter first?
Well, for right now, it's going to be through Kickstarter right now. But with that being said, like I said, we are not associated with Merc at all. This is all Aurelio and I, so we're having to organize these deals ourselves. We may or may not be talking with 1 or 2 people to see what we can do. But right now, for sure, it's going to be in Kickstarter. So if it were to be in stores, it wouldn't be for another year or so.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, I like both. I mean, I love the fact that Kickstarter, all the money goes right to you and everybody's right there. Where but I also like it's like you can also going to the comic book stores, you get more reach, because there's people who are going for other books and they can see your stuff. I always got, you know, get a kick seeing Born of Blood, because that's how I discovered you. Born of Blood was on my comic book shop, you know,
which is awesome.
Yeah, that's where. And it was like, what was it, $4.99 per issue or something like that?
Yeah, $4.99. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it's always because there's the Marvel, then there's the DC section. In the middle, it's all the independent stuff, and you have like it was like you guys were at SmackDown near like by Dark Horse. I'm like, that's usually where I skip because I'm not a fan of Dark Horse that much as I probably should be going back and looking at some of the other titles. But it just like you said, your covers were popping on Born in Blood. I mean, this is going into the superhero kind of like kind of looks that way. And I just kept thinking like, man, this is like such an awesome like concept, keep it up. One of the reasons we always like Batman because he's dark and gritty, and it's kind of like, it just goes back to being like when I'm thinking like, what kind of story is this going to be? I'm thinking like, is this going to be like a Street Sharks where people get experimented on? Or is this going to be, these kind of people are going to have, is there like some kind of drug that's being passed around? And then changes people. I'm like, there's so many ideas I could go with this, but until I read it,
you're hitting the nail. You're hitting several nails on the head. So yeah, we're incorporating a lot of these aspects in here. So in issue 1, we're going to be introducing there's a new street drug called the RA drug, and
nice.
it's making it not naturally making people addicted, but the more they use it, it sucks the life out of them. But like when they use it, it juices them back up, but then they get addicted. But then we find out in the subsequent issues that it has an effect on the dead as well. But and it's going to be a team book. We're going to see these characters. There's going to be a team of characters in this eventually, and especially in issue 2, we're going to be introduced to the whole team, and 1 or 2 of them may not want to work with the group, and there may be a traitor in the group. We'll find out, but they're getting together to take down this creator of the drug, because who brings the team together tells them that, oh no, this man, he's got a bigger plan than just passing out this drug. This drug is meant for something else entirely. It's supposed to help him get him to find this. But that's when we get further road. There's going to be big things coming in the subsequent issues.
Yeah, I noticed that you got now. You talked about the first 2 characters. Now this is a 3rd character popping up here on the screen here. So yeah, this is
So that's a cybernetic assassin. He's working with the drug suppliers themselves as their as one of their bodyguards.
Okay,
so
cybernetic.
Naturally, you would think. Right. What's that?
I said you've got me hooked with a cybernetic assassin.
And so trust me, there's more than just 1 page of action. There's like 4, 5, 6 pages of these guys beating the crap out of each other in the book. So,
wait a minute. It's not going to be just 22 pages of the characters eating and talking about their emotions?
One thing, Aurelio and I agreed, there's going to be no food eaten in this book. In this entire, of all the issues, nothing's,
Will there be hardcore drinking and smoking?
Yes, there will be smoking because one thing I do in my scripts, a lot of current day scripts, I always put in someone smoking, and I always get notes back from whoever it is, like, no, take that out. It's like, screw it. This is my book. I'm putting in 1 or 2 people smoking in this book. It's going to happen.
I want the villains and I want the heroes all smoke cigars. I want them.
No, trust me. Recluse. So he's so.
Yeah, here you go. This is why it's not for kids. Decapitation.
Yep. Yeah, in this book, there's going to be like limbs being ripped off, neck snaps, people coming back from the dead. It's going to be awesome. It's if I were a teenager, if I were 14 or 15, and I saw this on the rack, this is what I would want to read, because it's like, I love horror, I love action, I love the Image 90s comics. Not so much for the storytelling, but for the art. This is what I want in a comic.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, the kids, the shows I watched in the 90s was like with Gargoyles. They had that gothic horror to it, but it also had like their heroes. But it was also like, it was such an in-depth, like, deeper meaning for like the normal kid show. And that's why I said I love Batman. I love the real Ghostbusters, all that stuff. Anything that pushed the norm,
Mighty Max. Mighty Max was another one. I don't know if you ever remember watching that.
Yes, dude, I love that.
That had several dark episodes in that, and I love that, where it's like when you're a kid, it's like, whoa, this is so cool. And like, kids need that. Honestly, I think teenage boys need that, and it's like to be exposed to that at some point or another. And I hope not just teenagers, but like adults. Oh my God, there's another great page from Aurelio. Yeah, I love it. It's just, I'm as a fan, as a creator of this, I get giddy when I see this stuff. It's awesome.
Laser guns.
Now,
And
mentioning 90s cartoons, I was getting some Darkstalkers vibes off that last page too.
Ooh, Darkstalkers. Yeah.
I'm getting Cable vibes with the giant guns.
Yeah, like I said, if there's a 90, that's the 90s callback for you right there. Yeah, we want to have that Image 90s feel to it.
Yeah. So I wanted to throw this out there because I know that, some people are still, skittish sometimes with crowdfunding campaigns, not quite sure necessarily what they are because new people are coming on every day. But this is not your first rodeo. You helped run successful crowdfunding campaigns in the past.
Correct.
So, now doing this, kind of through your own studio, what are some of the things you've kind of learned from, doing these, crowdfunding campaigns?
More or less, it's watching others, seeing what they do. And one thing I've learned is be as open as you can with the customers, talk to them as frequently as you can, answer whatever question you may have, be as friendly as you can with them. And that's probably one of the biggest takeaways, always be willing and open to talk to the customers. Because, it's a lot of creators, they may not want to. They don't want to. They don't have that in them to be public, and that fortunately Aurelio knows me by now, that I'm more or less kind of like a hot dog salesman at this point with the book. And I have to be, and I got to. So I'll do whatever I can to try to convince someone to buy this over something from Marvel.
We all learned from Stan Lee. If you're out there promoting your book, and you have something to sell, people are eventually going to listen. You can stop with it, whether they're annoyed or not. They first hear you, they go and buy it, or man, this guy's been out there for like a whole year, just praising this book. I want to know what's going on with this. We host our best of the weeks on here. There's one of our followers on here, or not followers, but I mean like one of our friends that comes in the chat. Yeah, Dad Quinn. He's been just promoting the Marvel's Ghost Rider book. I'm like I don't understand. I've never read it, but it's Benjamin Percy, so he likes it. So I'm like, I'm just curious on that alone, because I was like, dude, every issue's a banger. I'm like, no, you're blowing smoke on me, But I'm curious now. I actually want to check out that book, and that goes back to the Stan Lee mentality. It's like a lot of us, we've been, the comic industry, we've been burned on certain titles, when companies go a direction we don't like. But I always like it when there's, like I said, if you're out there constantly doing, you're committed to this, constantly talking about your book, and just just overall just getting the word out as much as you can. It just shows to me that it's like, wow, this guy has something he wants to share, and this guy's not just trying to just get money. This guy actually he wants you to check out his book because he's proud of it. I felt like Stan Lee was proud of everything. Yeah,
I'm incredibly proud of this, and Aurelio is incredibly proud of it. Everyone who's working on this, everyone on our team right now, like the letterer, the colorer, Murphy, who is running our Kickstarter campaign for us. She's in charge. So Murphy Leduc, who she ran everything from Merc Publishing. She ran all of the Kickstarters. So setting up the pages, fulfillment, all of it. She is running the campaign for us on this. So we have got that in place, which is amazing. But we have so much pride in this, and the fact everyone I showed this book to, different creators, they all get excited about it. They love what they see, and that reassures me in that there's something special here. And I've got my own group of creators. We all talk, we text with one another, and we all know that we're honest with one another if something stinks or if it needs changed or whatever. But when they tell me that these things look like these pages, these covers look amazing, it's like, okay, we are onto something here.
Yeah. Well, and this is great to see. I mean, it's great to see your enthusiasm, your pride, as you said, in the book. And and especially nowadays, so few creators, you don't see that level of enthusiasm. And it's definitely one of the things too, that when I do get a chance to talk to, creators that are, trying to do crowdfunded or think about it, it's marketing it is 1A in terms of the product. You have to go out there. You got to be willing to go on every show you can and talk up your book and show the enthusiasm to get people interested. Because especially nowadays, in terms of the cost of the books. I'm sure it's the same way. I mean, when I was a kid, it was a lot easier to take a chance on a dollar book or $1.25. Today now it's $4, $5, and you need something to convince yourself, hey, I'm going to spend this money to get that.
Yeah, and so the price points right now, I'll give you a little sneak peek on the price points. So we're going to offer a PDF, digital PDF for $5 you can get.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The cover A, the Andrew Mangum, that's going to be $10. And then after that, be 15, and from there, because the covers just get better and better. And we still have so. Oh,
I was going to say $10. That's an exciting price, because I see a lot of other indie creators. It's like $30.
yeah. It's like with the basic, we're like, no, these are going to be like 10, 15, but I think I'm not sure, but the gold foil one, naturally, that may be 25 or 30, but
no metal prints.
Nope. Murphy was like, when we were setting up all the different tiers, things we're going to offer, she was like, we're not doing metal prints or bookmarks, are we? I'm like, no, we're not. This is a comic campaign. We're not going to have all the extra. I think a little sneak peek. She was helping Jimmy Tyndall set up one of his Kickstarters. He had 100 items listed on the Kickstarter you could get, and that was the max you could do. She discovered, okay, we can only list 100 items someone can get on a Kickstarter.
That's a nightmare. 100 thing, and then if she's the only one that's handling all of that, it's just like, and then especially if you get a big name like that, and then it draws in a lot of people coming in. So it's like, I kind of feel bad if Jamie Tyndall's like the variant cover, and then it's like, wow, we sold all of Jamie Tyndall's, but none of our main covers.
Yeah. Well, it's and it's funny too. You talk about the extras. Well, first off, I got to ask. So, is there any kind of early bird special, or something for say the first 10 or 15 or 20 folks that jump in tomorrow morning?
There won't be yet, because I did, trust me, I really did, but the fact is we're still people are telling me this is going to be successful. This should be, but I don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth and be like, oh god, it failed. But we didn't want to go ahead and do that yet. But if it is successful, and it's very successful, we'll start offering that with issues 2 and on. But we're going to offer some additional things as well on the campaign. Aurelio, I just messaged him right now. Aurelio's in the chat. He hasn't said anything yet. I know he's watching. Aurelio's in the chat. I know he's watching.
Why is he on the panel?
His English isn't that good.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's kind of shy too. But I'm trying to get him on tomorrow when we do our live stream tomorrow. But
he's kind of shy. I have no idea what they ask you. It's just like, hey, do you want to come on my channel? Sure. I've met you twice. That was like 9 months ago.
Yeah. I'm sorry. What did you ask? I completely forgot. We got sidetracked by Aurelio.
If there were going to be any kind of like early bird specials or what have you, because I know that has become very popular lately.
Not for issue 1, but issue 2 and on, yes, there will be. But this one, Aurelio is going to be offering some sketch opportunities, and we're going to have original art from the book for sale as well that you can get. And some of the cover art is going to be available to get as well.
You should get some Wrath jelly beans, the drug, the red and the blue pills.
Yeah. So, and I'm kind of curious too, because again, as I'll say a veteran of buying many crowdfunded books, I've got a giant box upstairs filled with stickers and postcards and you name it, as stretch goals and what have you. With the campaigns that you've done, what has been the feedback in terms of like offering those kinds of stretch goals with the
people love getting that
stickers
stuff
and so on? Okay.
As far as I know, from when I talked to Murphy, people love that stuff. Yeah, people love getting that stuff. They love the poker chips. I will say that that's like one of the more popular ones.
I haven't gotten too many of those.
I need
definitely a couple of the bookmarks are nice.
The Ghostbusters. Give me the balloons and T-shirts for the kids. And the cup mug. Oh
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. So Dolan, I wanted to ask too. So how did you go from obviously being, a comic book fan and then, working in a comic book store to, now, writing, books? I mean, I'm sure it's probably something you've always wanted to do, but to actually take that step, how did you go about? Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I've been a fan of comics since I was in kindergarten, first grade. Been reading and collecting them ever since. Been addicted since then. And I knew from first grade I wanted to write comic books. And fortunately enough, 2 years ago, Sean Hudachko, who is the co-publisher of Merc Publishing and owns Comics Elite, Black Ops Publishing, and Hudachko Enterprises. There we go. He owns all these different companies. But when Merc Publishing had put out Death Rage #1, I had read it and reviewed it, and I'd said it was okay, it was good. And I told him I really liked how they were incorporating ancient Sparta into the character Death Rage and this whole lineage. It goes back to the ancient Sparta. I'm like, I like that. That's very cool and unique. I love that idea. And then about I think a few days later, Sean, I'm walking through the warehouse. Sean calls me into the office, and that's where I meet Murphy. For the first time I had a conversation with her and Sean. Sean said, "Hey, this is Drew. He's doing the YouTube channel for us, but he's been writing in local comic book writing competitions the past few years. He's won a few times, and I was thinking maybe we can bring him on to write the next title from Merc Publishing. It'd be like an ancient Spartan, a female warrior." And he's like, "You want to write it?" I was like, "Sure."
So here's my follow-up question: where are those the books that you wrote for the competitions?
I've actually got the original. Hold on one second. I got the original pages right here. Hold on a second. Oh, give me 1 second. So these were comic book in a day competitions held at held in Fishers at the this
coffee table size. Eric Breen will like those.
What's that?
Coffee table size. I said Eric Breen will like those. He can read the print.
So the first one I did. So this is a very, very tongue-in-cheek comic, but it was you played your artist's strengths. And my friend Kenna, good friend Kenna, she is a professional painter, illustrator of horses and camels. She makes a fortune doing that. Wow. And she goes to the Middle East, sells a bunch over there. And I was like, all right, so let's tell a story with some horses, and we came and settled upon, one night this mad scientist machine goes haywire, and the lightning bolts bounce off and go and land in the barn, and suddenly the horses are able to speak English. And for several pages, it's the horses venting about humans, just all the names they give them, the onesies. Having to go farm. Yeah.
So now we just outed Dolan as a furry. Okay.
Yeah. So
I was gonna say, is it My Little Brony? Spirit.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite ones right here. Just the horse wearing the onesie for the birthday party. Just
little bunny slippers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I just feel bad for all the horses that people are abusing if they don't like it.
And the third one, I got the second one in here. It's kind of along the same lines, but it's with camels in the Middle East. This one we actually won Best of the Year. It's called Squirrel Proof. It's about squirrels trying to get a hold of these bird feeders and dealing with chipmunks and bird baths. Just all age type stories, and
it's like a Sunday morning comic book strip. A squirrel every week you can see him. He's going to get close to getting into the bird feeder, and something happens.
Nice.
That's funny.
Very cute.
Why isn't that published?
They were published through the art center. They came out like little reader like digest size,
yeah.
comic. Yeah.
So those are worth money.
Maybe, yeah. So this is the OA for those pages right there. So, yeah.
He's got a box full.
You never know. Yeah. So who are some of your writing inspirations?
For me, honestly, I would say how I approach a comic is very similar to, I would say, maybe a young Frank Miller, I would say, in that approach. I do like that. I like his philosophy on it. One guy I go with is Alan Moore. I'm not comparing myself to Alan Moore, but I do like how he approaches writing comics. It's how he says, if you're gonna be writing this stuff, you can't just read the good stuff. You have to read the bad stuff too. You have to know what not to do. And so I like to think, every week I'm reading a lot of the new comics that come out. Fortunately, because I know Sean, he gets new comics in, I can just read them for free. I'm reading there, and it's like, all right, I'm knowing, okay, don't do this, don't do that, don't say this.
I see it popping up on Wes's channel. You guys did that the weird comic books over. I guess what was it? The live stream was all weird different comic books came out this week or last week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah. Ice Cream Man was.
Yeah, Ice Cream Man. It is such a trippy book.
It is.
Our friend Skip was a big fan of that. But yeah, I always used to ask him, like, is there any ice cream in the book, or is it just an anthology book and he's just like the Crypt Creeper? I never really understood the concept because I never read it. But
yeah, it's kind of an anthology. It's pretty much an anthology series, and every issue is different. Granted, there are like little hints, teases of the Ice Cream Man himself or past characters from prior issues, but each issue is more or less its own self-contained story, and no two issues are the same, which is amazing. And that's what's great. I love about what can make comics great is that you don't know what you're going to get when you read it. And that's what I like the thing with Unholy Nightmare. If someone picks this up, they're going to be blown away by like what happens in this.
So with Unholy Nightmare, kind of as you were, starting to come up with the book, kind of what came up first? Were it the character ideas, or was it, hey, I've got this interesting story idea? And
it's the characters. Yeah. Okay. Aurelio. I was sitting right here back in March working on a script, and Aurelio was just sending me all these images of all these different random characters he was thinking of. He's been sitting on. He didn't know what to do with, and I'm like, okay, that was cool. All right, I don't know why he's sending this to me, but they look cool. And then he said he wanted to think about doing a team book with them. I'm like, he's asking the wrong guy for this. But like I said, the more we talked about the characters and started fleshing out the backstories and motivations, and then my storytelling brain started clicking, and then it's like I started connecting A to B to C to D to E, and I just said, okay, I got a story here. I got a story I can.
So this will be your first superhero kind of genre?
Yeah.
As far as...
And I'm excited. I love it. It's like, because like I said, I love superheroes and I love horror movies. So I'm getting to tell the best of both worlds with this story.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's pretty awesome. And so I want to ask, is going along with that with the character, because it's definitely something I've noticed in a lot of storytelling lately. How do you keep your story that you're wanting to tell from becoming plot driven, where it's more of the characters reacting to it and the characters stay consistent versus their abilities change because the plot demands it? For example, like I've been watching season 2 of Loki, unfortunately, and the last 2 episodes or in this season, it's been maddening watching. One moment Loki has his magic and does something, and the very next scene you think, okay, well, he can do magic, he can solve this very easily, but then it's like he forgets that he has the powers, and then it's up to Sylvie to jump in and go attack somebody with a sword.
Yeah, that's what's difficult a lot of times, because like I'm incorporating 1 or 2 characters, like Trinacria. She is a demon. She is a magic character. So now I got to figure out. We're still working out the rules with her, because we're not trying. I don't want to make her like a plot MacGuffin, more or less like the plot device. Things happen,
Mhm.
but
Yep.
she is a central character to the story, and for why and how, and for another. I don't want to spoil it, but the characters are very important to me, and that's why I try to focus on them and their motivations and their emotions. And the plot is important, but the characters I think are more important. And I want to see them. I like to see them uncover things along with me along the way. Just I find that fun. It just and like I said, in remembering the rules for each character, like what they can and can't do along the way. It's like, wait a minute, you have them here. Why can't you do this? Then it's like trying to remember what everyone can do. It's like I got a team. We have a team book now. I'm writing the X-Men. I got to remember all these rules now. This is crazy.
Yeah, I've always liked that with Army of Darkness. They kept with the movie. They kept with the fact that everything comes from the book, and as you go through, even though Ash is the main character, but it's always a damn book, and all your rules come from that book. So I mean, I'm trying to think of like this character. She says a demon. My first thing is like holy water and a cross. It's like but you also don't want to become cliche when it comes to stuff like that. Working with
correct
because
we don't
want to
be cliche with it. Like, and her origin, I think is going to be pretty cool and unique because she's tied in with another character we're going to be introducing in issue 2. So one thing Aurelio and I agreed on with issue 1 is that we didn't want to introduce the whole team in issue 1. We're not going to do that. There's too many characters. We're like, okay, we're going to introduce you to like I consider the 2 important characters of the team in the story, the Recluse and Jenny. And granted, the other characters are very important too, but these are the ones I want everyone to really focus on. I hope they really enjoy too. But I forget where I was going with this. Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
It's this channel. We don't know. It's chaos all the time. We have no idea where we're going.
Yeah.
Well, I know you were talking about the fact of not introducing all the characters at once.
Yes.
You want to kind of keep it focused and
fresh.
And, let the characters
not cliche.
Drive the story, and then have the other ones kind of come in as needed.
Yes.
And kind of go along with that, as you were doing, say research to set this, set your book up. Were there any titles or any classic issues or stories that you kind of went back to say, hey, you know what, I kind of want to do it like this. Let me go and look and see, how this book handled this situation and how I can adapt it into my book.
Not really. Because I'm fortunate enough to have read a lot of the team books but I to know enough to kind of make this my own. There are character elements I've taken from certain pieces of media that I'm going to be putting into some of these characters. I think will be fun because conflict with these characters is great. They're not all going to get along. It's not like the current X books where they all love each other. It's not a whole hippie commune. No, there's going to be struggle. There's going to be conflict with one another.
There's no damn island.
Yeah. And it's like, one thing I'm going to be incorporating with the Recluse in issue 2, I hope it shocks people. And with his reaction to the new people they discover, the other monsters, if you will.
Yeah, I go back to like books like Cyberforce and all the other teams that came out through Wildstorm and Image back in the day. Like everybody had to reinvent the X-Men. It's like it's.
Yeah, and I don't. I will say, one thing. I will say, one book I did go to was League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. That was the one I did kind of go to with this. There were some relationship things in there that I was kind of going off of for this, because I felt like that type of book fit to a degree the story I'm telling.
Yeah, true. I mean, and I look at League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's been a while since I've never read it, but I've watched the movie like whenever it came out. Was it early 2000s? Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, just bring in characters who really have no relation other than just being kind of like monsters, or you had I look at it. It's like when Universal wants to do a team up. Obviously, unfortunately, it was like for the Monster Squad where you finally get to see all the Universal horror monsters together. It's like, so your characters are coming from different backgrounds, and then you got to have a reason for them to how they join the team, or or some maybe they're not, Batman. I'm not part of the Justice League, but I am. But I'm not.
Yeah. So this we're going to discover eventually this one individual. We're going to reveal him at the very end of issue 1. He's gathering this group of special people, these monsters, to take down this threat because he sees how powerful and what this individual can do to the world if he's able to find something. And he needs these individuals to help him take him down and his army that he's building.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing how you do this, because like I said, that's the one thing I noticed everybody does. Everybody else has like, I'm putting a team together. It's like
we discovered, like he discovers this individual. He discovers he can't do it himself. He can't do it on his own.
Yeah.
And he discovered there are other individuals who have unique abilities like him, and he needs them to help take down this evil. It's greater evil than him, if you will.
Yeah. Well, and again, I mean, it's one of those things where cliches aren't inherently bad. It's if that's what the character and the situation calls for, do it, and then you can just put your own little twist on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of what you're doing here. And I mean, as I say, I mean the pages I saw and the way that you described it, as being one of those old time fans of the '90s. 90s books and 90s Image books and 90s Marvel team books.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is definitely something that anybody who's a fan of those books should be looking to check out. I was going to say, I know that with some of the crowdfunding stuff that you did previously with Merck and what have you, are you going to be doing a live stream tomorrow to kick this off?
Yes, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. when we launch, I will be on Nerdette's newsstand. She's been kind enough to host me and my other projects in the past, and she's actually doing the trailer right now for this. The trailer is just about done. She's
okay. She did trailer for the previous one, Born of Blood.
Yeah, she did. She killed it, and this one is going to be a little different. But she's adding in the voiceover right now to it. Should be hopefully done.
Also,
soon,
what costume are you dressing up tomorrow in?
I don't have one. I was just gonna toss on one of my horror movie shirts. Like right now, I've got on my Black Christmas shirt. So,
it's Halloween. It's a live stream.
I know it. But at the same time, I'm gonna be a hot dog salesman for the book, and it's like
there you go, hot dog costume.
Yeah.
You can have the little hat on, the little chef hat, shirt, and the bow tie, and then you have the hot dogs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I will say when you get to the issue in the book where they finally sit down to eat, at least make sure they have a pork tenderloin sandwich. That's all I ask for.
Hot dog. Dang it.
Oh no!
I want to see the self-insert. Random guy in the background.
I mean, this is the Indiana staple. I mean, this was something I grew up on. My grandma is doing a pork tenderloin sandwich. It's the greatest sandwich in the world if you've never had one. But so many people outside of Indiana, look at you strange when you mention it, and it's like, no, it's just an amazing sandwich.
So I do have the issue in mind where that may or may not happen. It will be probably for one panel, and it's be like, wow, he wrote a 6-issue story with only one panel of food eating. How about that? But
the anti-Mariko Tamaki.
Wait. No, if they're in a diner having coffee and cigarettes, that's not, that's okay, right? It's not food.
No, that's perfect.
Yeah, I want the Stephen Wright, just in there with the cigarette. And
so Aurelio's watching right now. He says he can't, for some reason, he's not able to type in the chat. I don't know why, but he said he wanted to say, like, yeah, they're basically forced. They're gonna be forced to be a team. And when the issues progress throughout the series, we discover, at first, there's a lot of resistance to doing this, but like by the time we get to like around issue 4 or 5, that's when they really have to learn to trust each other and work with one another if they're going to survive and take down the bad guys. I'm
just excited. We know about the girl, we know about the guy. I'm just curious, what are the other powers these people are gonna have? Is there gonna just be a guy who just has utility built?
Aurelio says hi right now.
Hey, how's it going, Aurelio? Yeah, I don't know why.
Art looks great, Aurelio.
Yeah, I don't know why he can't to type in the chat, and I have it set to public. It's not, it's not members only, so I don't know.
Yeah, he says.
Unless-
He's like, I can't find the text to message. I'm like, I don't know, but I mean, it's
Sounds like
maybe
it's
it's
his phone.
his device. I don't know.
Yeah. If you're just outside of the U.S., I don't know if YouTube is messed up. Outside of, I don't know. YouTube's messed up in the United States as it is. So it's,
but yeah, so yeah, the other, they're all the other. He says, thanks for all the kind words. But the other characters, like I said, we're going to have a golem in this, and from Jewish folklore, we're going to be incorporating him. This
nice.
So when Aurelio showed me the art for him, I'm like, this is the origin story I want to write, and I have a co-writer. I'm going to be bringing on for that. If issue 2 or 3 is successful, 1 or 2, we're able to tell the backstory for the golem, I'm bringing on a legit co-writer with me for this. This is going to tug at your heartstrings when we tell his origin story. He's going to be like a big Hulk. He's going to be like our Hulk type character.
Yeah,
and it's going to be awesome.
There's only 2 other times I've ever seen a golem done in any kind of media. Was in Extreme Ghostbusters. They had one of the golems was going around. He had a piece of paper in his mouth, and then the other one was in the comics. It was in Battle Chasers. Yeah, he has the big guy.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
which just came back last year.
Yeah, it did. Yeah,
it's like another 90s stuff. But I mean, that's cool though to see that. Xenoscope's been kind of doing a slash golem with a Tin Man, making him like a Hulk-like character. But I mean, like, that's cool to see more golems popping up inside the actual comic books.
Yeah, and I had read a couple horror books from, I think, AWA. They tried telling a golem story, and the golem just looked like a wooden statue, thin guy walking around. Like, no, that sucks. You didn't even try. Come on.
A thin
and for this, it's going to be like, he's going to be our Hulk, and how he looks and everything, the backstory. Oh my God, I can't wait to write it.
There's a reason why boys like the Hulk, because he smashes things. He's huge. He's menacing. Yeah. That's why Venom sold, because Venom was huge. Yeah. He's disturbing looking. You know, there's a reason. It's gotta have one of those characters on a team.
Well, I mean, definitely in the team book, and it's classic. You got to have that tank, and I mean, a golem is a perfect tank for a team. So I'm looking forward to that. Everybody out there, come on, we've got to make sure this gets successful. We got to see these future issues, because this sounds like a great story.
If it doesn't, just keep writing it and send me the script. I can read.
Yeah, I probably will, because I probably will. Honestly, I mean, granted, Marat Michaels is keeping me busy right now with all the projects I'm writing for him. But are
you getting into the Pray for Sinner universe?
I can neither confirm nor deny that at this time.
Oh boy, there goes my wallet again. So I've enjoyed seeing him come back as well, and I plunked down to get the George Perez cover for, what was that, issue 4? Yeah.
Wow,
I think it was. So that's great to hear. So and that's one of the exciting things, seeing kind of with the Kickstarters and the crowdfunders, is seeing some of these 90s creators being able to come back. Because I know with Marat, it's been one. Keith Champlain, I think it is. He's had another kind of series of successful books with Daybreak, and so it's great to see that. I mean, that being said, it does seem like the crowdfunding space is really getting crowded. So what have you kind of figured out, or what are you trying to do to kind of differentiate yourself, or at least, make sure that you're able to get your name out there, get your book out there, so as many people as possible can see it?
I am talking to anyone and everyone who will listen right now. I am legit messaging people, stores, shows on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, just whoever will listen, so I can get the word out. And
posters.
Yeah, it's not easy. I mean, really, you have, like you said, you have to be the hot dog salesman. You have to push it, and if you want this to be successful, I mean, there are a lot of these Kickstarter guys. A lot of them, they won't do anything. They'll just post it, and that's it. They won't say anything. Maybe put up one post, but that's it. It's like, no, I'm going to be doing this every day. if not like every hour, talking about this, posting it.
And what I do for this channel, I'm shilling wherever I am.
Yeah, you got to. When I go to conventions, I got to. I'm always pitching.
I
stuff.
jumped into one of Wes's live streams in the chat, and under the name channel, just like, and then Breen was on there, and like we got a little shout out. We getting 4 subs. It's like I gotta go for the guys who have 32,000.
You gotta take advantage of it. You have to.
I feel bad though because it's feel like because we have a guy who comes in days is trying to hawk his book on here too. I forget his name is. I think it's Alex something. I think it's. I don't know. It's like I don't want to tell people like you can't come in here and like show your book, But also I'm looking the other way too. It's like for the people who have like bigger channels, like you're coming in here shilling your stuff on my business. It's like it's like. So I mean, I appreciate that anybody who's willing to basically come out and actually promote their book.
Mm-hmm.
So that being said, if when we get super chats, if people want to give us super chats, you can show your book all you want.
Honestly, I wouldn't be here if I didn't feel confident about the book.
No.
I didn't like and if I didn't like what we got, I wouldn't be doing it. But I've got nothing but great feelings when I look at this book.
Born of Blood was great. Like I said, this is where you get to prove that you can do more than just doing one trick.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to be relegated to the. Granted, it's a very lucrative corner, the bad girl market.
Yeah,
I like it. It's great, but I want to be able to tell more. And
so you're going for the cheesecake, are you?
Yeah, cheesecake is great. I love cheesecake, especially red velvet cheesecake. but I love superheroes and I love horror. Those are two of the strong things in my heart. And same for Aurelio. We both agreed like this is going to be a superhero horror story, and this is what we love. And I'd like to think our love comes out in the book.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously when it comes to the art, I mean, I do love cheesecake, but I also have a good story. I like having it. Combination of both, since but it doesn't have to be solely about just your cover is just cheesecake. You can I like that. I like it where you actually like
tell a story.
Tell a story, and then say you have a background character like Avengers. You have Captain Marvel appear on there. I don't want Captain Marvel looking like Jason Mewes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, unless it's supposed to be, Mr. Captain Marvel, but I may or may not have an issue or two of Miss Meow upstairs in the long box.
If you're at a convention, I can see there's women of all different shapes and sizes. There's even dudes that dress up. But I mean, if it's supposed to be your main character, your main star, like Captain Marvel, and you draw are looking more butchered than any of the other guys on the team. You're kind of, I don't know which word you're going for. It becomes more of a virtue signal and less of you want to tell a story, and that's the thing. It's like,
and
your focus, it be your customers. This is what I'm excited about this story. You want to pay your customers. We always go back to this argument. Without customers, there wouldn't be a creator, wanting to create. A creator can create as much as they want, but if you're creating it for other people, not just yourself too.
It's like these characters are going to have legit, real motivations. It's going to be real people, not people who live on Twitter. Just you're going to when they especially when we get to issue 2. But like issue 1, we're going to see there may or may not be a relationship between one of the two of the characters. But in issue 2, we see that flesh out a little bit more. But they realize, okay, we've been keeping secrets from one another, or have we? Did we know about these secrets?
Right.
What else do we not know about each other? And are we going to trust this person who wants us to come with them to meet him later tonight? I love getting into those complex relationships,
secret relationships, romantic relationships inside the team that no one else knows about.
Yeah.
No. Well, I'm just excited to see. I'm excited to see a superhero book that has action and conflicts and people acting like adults, and that's definitely the vibe that I get from the pages and hearing you talk about it. So again, that's one of the reasons why I'm excited to get my hands on this.
Sure. I mean, I'm always the guy. I'm the action guy when it comes to movies. I don't really like the long, lengthy. You're just like the actions. Here, a kick at the end, what was it? Invasion USA. We get one Chuck Norris kick. I mean, if I can forgive it if this is your first issue, you're doing world building. But the thing I don't like is when someone just does a world building and they forget that this is supposed to be an action book.
Correct. And that's where this is my personal philosophy. This is where I believe Jonathan Hickman kind of fails. He's good at world building, but there's quite often he forgets the action. You need to have that in the book.
How I felt with his Ultimate Invasion. I was just like, I read through it. I was like, where's the action? It's just like you give me a forward introduction to begin your comic book.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, I mean, in the problem, at least I had with the later issues of Ultimate Invasion is when we quote unquote got action, it was just hundreds of characters just spewed on a page that you had no idea what was going on. There was nothing specific, nothing to highlight, and it was just a blah. It was like
Krakoa X-Men. Nothing matters. This character's gonna die. Oh well.
Yeah.
Now they haven't.
Dylan, we gotta ask you here. I'm sorry. Go ahead first.
I was just gonna say, we were talking about on the subject with issue 1 of Unholy Nightmare. There's going to be some world. Like I said, we are world building. There's going to be some information drop, but not too much. And but like I said, there's going to be some pages with that, but there's going to be a lot of action in it too. Because one thing we didn't want to tell the whole story in issue 1. There's going to be a lot of questions raised about backstory to certain characters. It's like, wait a minute, hold a second, how did that happen? Wait a minute, when did this happen? It's like that'll be told a little bit later on. But just there's still plenty of room for mystery. It just tell the audience what they need to know when they need to know it. It's the Hitchcock method.
Yes, and then as we get later issues, you little editor's note, see previous, issue for this.
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
Yeah. So I was gonna say.
Oh, that's another question. Is there gonna be a lot of narration in this?
No.
We're not going that 90s narration.
Yeah.
Or I guess nowadays we're 90s, it was more 80s, 70s.
Yeah, just there won't be that much narration. But if there is going to be any, it'd be mostly from the Recluse. Because hey, there he is. Aurelio's in. There he is.
Okay. Hey, welcome. So, in other words, you're not doing your best Chris Claremont impersonation.
No, I learned that. So I've learned that over the past year or so, working with Marat Michaels on several projects, and granted, I would have a lot of action, but I would also have a lot of dialogue and captions. Be like, "Hey, buddy, you got to take that out." It's like, and I look at where it's at. I'm like, "Oh shit, he's right."
So you're going more towards Kirkman Walking Dead, where it's more panels.
Yeah,
sequential art.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't need the words; you can just see what's going on.
Absolutely, yeah. It's like most words won't need to be said when what can be shown with what Aurelio can do. I don't need to say anything. So,
yeah. I love narration, but I love more of Where Up by Night narration, where it's the main character is in their thoughts.
Yeah. I miss the thought bubbles. I do miss those. And but if there's going to be, there won't be that much narration, but there'll be it'd be talking between a couple of the characters to kind of explain what's going on with the plot, why they're going there, what's going on. But not much narration.
The setting where it says present day or past, whatever, the stuff you need to for if you're going like a flashback, you'd have
there shouldn't, from the story I'm writing with this, there won't be, if there are flashbacks, it's going to be in the origin stories we're going to put in the back of the books eventually. But there shouldn't be any flashbacks at all in this book.
Either Eric, we can't read this on the channel. There's no narration for you.
Well, I was going to point out we're going to have to find out more because our resident historian here does say that Marvel had a Golem character back in the 70s. So
yeah, dude.
Next time we're on a stream with Eric, we'll have to have him fill us in on which character that was and how good the book was on that. But it's funny you mentioned the thought bubbles because it's something that I think has been lacking from a lot of books, and it would make sense because we all have thoughts, and so we're not always saying everything out loud, and thought bubbles are a great way to get across something that that character is supposed to be thinking about.
I think the last time I saw a thought bubble was in James Tynion's Batman, but it was like or no, it wasn't that, it was Josh Williams' Batman Superman. You had the red was Superman's thoughts, the blue was Batman's, and that's how they kept them, their inner dialogue. As they talked about their point of view is what's going on in the story. I mean, if you're running a character where obviously this guy's got spider arms, if he turns into a full spider, he's not able to speak. So if you want to know what he's thinking, you're gonna have you have to incorporate some kind of narration.
Yeah, because like I said, that's one thing that we're probably gonna have to be incorporating, especially in issue 2 and 3, just some thought bubbles. But because, like I said, he's gonna be turning into a spider. So and like I don't want to spoil that plan later on. Like I said, we've already got issues all 1 through 6, 2 through 6 already plotted out. What we got plotted in issue 6. I mean, one thing I love, Aurelio and I love doing, it's think bigger. Always think bigger. Do not settle for lowest bar. Don't make it bare basic bitch action. Let's make this bombastic.
Yeah, don't phone it in.
Monstrous. No, we're not phoning it in. And it's like, we want to say, that this cannot be filmed. That's what we love about this. This is something that honestly an animator could probably maybe do it. Yeah, no spoil. I'm not spoiling it.
Yeah,
but it's just stuff that no movie could do this stuff. It's just what we have in store. It's going to be huge.
That's what I like about comic books. There's a lot of stuff you cannot do on the big screen with other CG stuff. It just doesn't feel that way. The current Spider-Man game, I love how the storytelling is acting, but there's no way that stuff that happens in that game you would be able to do on the bigger scale in the movies. It just doesn't translate. So comics So I like
your
that
budget. Your budget is limited to the artist and the writer's imagination, and then what the artist can produce, visually on the page. Otherwise, you can do anything you want. I quickly wanted to touch on so you've talked about the fact that you kind of have this plotted out through issue 6, but to kind of alleviate some fears that people might have as they're looking at this crowdfunded. How much of issue 1 do you guys have done right now?
Like I said, the script for issue 1 is already done, but as of today, we have 6 pages of the 26 pages done.
Okay.
So as soon as we hit the goal, all right, it's like we're gonna tell the team, it's like, all right, here we go, last 20, we're gonna knock these out.
Nice. And how long is your campaign going? Starts tomorrow.
30
and goes.
Days. Yep.
30
going
days.
for a month.
All right.
Fantastic. And people that just jumped on, there's going to be a kickoff live stream tomorrow on Nerdette's channel. What time is that going to be?
7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay. So 7 in the East, 6 in the Central, which is the best time zone.
And you may or may not be dressing up.
May or may not. We'll see what happens. Yeah.
It might be another black shirt. We don't know.
Yeah. Oh, Aurelio. Yeah, he's ready to start. Yeah, I know Aurelio's chomping at the bit to complete issue 1. Yeah, I know he does.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
So now is Aurelio just doing the pencils, or is he doing the inking and the coloring, the whole 9 yards?
He's doing pencils and inks. We have a colorist. His name is Gene. Give me 1 second to pull it. It's oh my god, I'm blanking on his
Another
name.
Italian name?
Shame on me. No, actually. One of the few. Gene Jimenez is our colorist, and Kel Natal is our letterer.
Great.
So, are any of these people from Merck, as far as doing variants or any of that stuff, or is just anything tied to them?
Yeah, these were people that I reached out to, like, hey, I was like, hey, you guys know a good colorist? Hey, a good letterer? Okay. Like these came recommended to us.
Word of mouth. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
They've done great jobs.
No. Well, I'm sure I'm probably not the only one, out there in the chat and watching that misses your weekly, especially your weekly bad comic book beatdown reviews. But I'm glad to see that all that energy that went to those shows are going to something positive here in terms of turning out good comic books that people want to read.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. And, the other thing I've been doing is, as soon as the campaign goes up, like you said, going into stores, buying those books. I'm doing my best because we're gonna be incorporating a retailer bundle in this for retailers. And so I'm going to be reaching out to a bunch of stores. You can reach out to your store, let them know, see if they'd be interested.
Okay.
We're going to be offering, I think it's 30 copies. They can pick whatever covers they want for $200. That's going to be the retailer bundle.
Yeah.
So
okay, you hear that, Yule? There's a retailer bundle out there for you. So
yeah, Yule, please. Yeah.
And how do they get a hold of you as far as that? They just go to an email or?
Yeah, they can reach out to me via the Kickstarter. You can message the Kickstarter campaign when it launches. You can reach out to me on Facebook, Dolan Waddick. You can reach out to me on Instagram, Dolan_Waddick. They can message the mutant. They can email the Mutant Farm Comics.
Checks, cash orders.
Yeah, I mean, I can be reached so many ways. There's so many ways to contact me. And
all right, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, gotta ask you: are you excited for Ultimate Spider-Man #1?
I actually am. As soon as I saw that cover, I was like, these bastards, they did it. They're giving us what we wanted, and I couldn't believe it. But I do like the twist how he hasn't gotten his powers until now, until he was an adult. So I'm kind of curious how with great power comes great responsibility is going to come into play with this Peter Parker.
Maybe his Uncle Ben's still alive.
We don't know.
Yeah. And he just died now.
And he's gone.
It's funny, when I first saw the solicit for it, I kind of glossed over that because I was like, oh my God, the family's back. This is awesome. Will the little girl be named May or Annie? I mean, that was the level where I was going, because I loved Renew Your Vows, especially that first season that Jerry
First
Conway
volume,
did, and then of course they screwed it up by bringing on Jodie Hauser and aging up Annie to a teenager and just junked the book.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna have her as a teenager, start out as a teenager, doing with the like they did with Peter. It was Tom DeFalco, right? That was writing the Spider Girl.
Well, the Spider Girl. Yeah, that was. Yeah. I think that was Tom DeFalco. Yeah.
But and Peter David was writing "Renew Your Vows," I believe, right?
I think.
The
series I think was Jerry Conway.
Oh,
I'm not sure who did the original kind of one shot, because there was that one shot that they did where it was like, hey, here's an alternate version. People love that so much that a year or two later they said, okay, we'll come out with a regular series. And I think the series started out, Jerry Conway did, I think, the first dozen issues, and then they turned it over to Jodie Hauser.
Because I thought Dan Slott was involved with that. He likes Brady was. So, but as far as this, I'll say my 2 cents on this is like, I've been burned since 2007, since the whole One More Day crap, and I haven't really liked any of the Spider-Man stuff, except for Nick Spencer's run.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who messed up Captain America,
And Nick Spencer did some good work there at the end. He retconned that crap from JMS, original Sten or whatever. Yeah.
Like I said, the fact you had MJ and all them, he's getting ready to propose, and they're like, "You're kicked off the book now. MJ's going to Leah Williams," and it's like, no.
Yeah, but now here with Unholy Nightmare, though, we're going to get a Spider-Man that we actually want to read.
Will we though? I'm reserving.
Well, here's the thing. I no spoiler for it, but let's just say he wasn't always the recluse. Let's just say he something tragic may have happened to him when he was a younger spider type person.
He's Kane.
Let's just say something pushed him over. Let's just say he stared into the abyss and he dove head first into it, and he hasn't turned back. But maybe through working with this team and with Jenny, maybe he can pull himself back from out of the abyss. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So I'm just going to be shocked. Go ahead. Yeah, I just wanted to toss something out there from left field, since you kind of know Jamie Tyndall. Has he said anything about the fact that Marvel's coming out with a White Widow book?
Well, here's the thing. Like even before that, when they did the I think it was like the Iron Cat or whatever, when they gave Black Cat an armor or whatever. Mm-hmm, if you look at that armor, it looked a lot like Miss Meow's suit.
Yep.
It looked a lot like it. And I showed Sean, I'm like, hey, does this look a little familiar to you? And Sean didn't care. He's like, yeah, it is what it is, whatever. And it's like, I don't know. It's a little close. But
Okay, well, as a White Widow fan, I was very annoyed when I saw that Marvel's list going, oh, come on, guys, this is ridiculous. Because Yelena's never been called that before.
No.
And so I was personally, I was kind of hoping that he would, maybe try and throw a cease and desist. But
no, I think honestly, Jamie and Sean are so busy right now with all of their projects, and they're making good money doing that. Like they really don't care, honestly. And they probably don't know if they'd win. Maybe I don't. It's hard to tell.
It's not the first time a company has copied another company.
No, it's not.
No, Slade, Deadpool, Marvel and DC are famous for doing that.
Man Thing, Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, it's just I know that Marvel has done that to smaller companies. I mean, for example, being a fan of heroic publishing and what have you, they had when it was that Eclipse had the Champions book, and then they eventually had to rename it as something else because Marvel complained because, well, no, we've got our own Champions book, so
yeah.
But yeah, it just annoys me. But yeah, no.
I would say I would take it as a badge of honor. They're copying us because they know they don't have anything else to work with. They see how we're doing well over here, and they're like, "Shit, we should do that. We need sales."
So Aurelio just commented. He said, Reckless, what if Spider-Man lost his mind? Yeah, so yeah, there you go.
Very cool. All right.
Eric's pushing that. I guess Lena's now a lesbian now. She was a crazy psychopath when they first introduced her back in Inhumans. So
here's what I'll say to that is, if nothing else, I mean, for her character, because she's a widow, it's an espionage thing. Her being bi at least makes sense because part of her job, for lack of a better term, is to seduce people and would be to seduce men and women. So in that aspect, it would be fine. Now, of course, that's not how Marvel's going to do it because that's not how any modern comic is doing it. But that would be the route to go. I know, God, once upon a time, I think there was that Mystique series or mini series.
Mystique and Destiny are an item apparently.
But just back and forth. So,
and I've heard.
Stop depressing me there.
I heard that apparently that Mystique was a lesbian back in Claremont's run, but they couldn't call it a lesbian because the comic code or something. It's like whatever. Yeah, just like Tim Drake was gay, right? The whole entire time. It's just so much reaching to pandering, just like it. Just to prove your argument, because you can't accept that maybe you might be just overreaching a little bit, grasping at straws.
No.
So now, regardless of that.
Sorry, I was going to ask. So now, is Born of Blood done, or you still have future issues and ideas?
Yeah, I need more cheesecake.
Well, it's complicated right now with Merc Publishing. I do know they got the new Catfight series right now that Aaron Sparrow wrote for Merc. Yep. But beyond that, as far as I know, there aren't any plans. Although I did write it's done. The script is turned in, done. We already have a cover for it, but it was for a Born of Blood story. It's Jarrus versus Jack the Ripper. That story is written and ready to go for art. But I don't know if that's going to go to art.
Yeah.
If ever. But I do know there were Aaron who. I do know there
All
were,
Eagle Aaron Page. Right.
There was one story I did want to tell. I was so gung-ho about it. Everyone was excited about it, but it got turned down by the publisher. I'm taking that story element and I'm putting it in Unholy Nightmare. So just reworking some characters around in it, and there we go. So
also for anybody who's just tuning in, Dolan you have a knack for basically getting your stuff done before you release it to a Kickstarter campaign. You want to make sure it's all set to go. that's one thing. I mean, as a consumer of me going on anything Kickstarter or IndieBook or Indiegogo, is that okay? I'm already. You want me? Some of these want you to spend like the $30, and then like they're not even done with the book. Like they haven't worked on issue 2 or 3. My friend Manny from the Press, he did Skunk Girl. He already had 1 through 5 already done, and then COVID hit. So he just never got back to releasing them because he's waiting for the economy to pick up. But I mean, like I like that when you hear about a guy who's basically like, I've already got stuff already planned out. I already got it written for the most part. I'm just waiting for like the art that and then it's all set to go. But that's the thing. I like having we talk about you're going you're not when you go through indie stuff, you're kind of taking a risk that your book may or may not show up. It's not like you're just going to comic store. It's already there. So that's the one thing I like is like in hearing a guy is like who has a reputation for, hey, I'm a consumer too. I know what it's like waiting for a book. So I want to have my shit done before I even think about doing a campaign, and so I said you said what $10 for our physical, and then $5 for PDF, and it's gonna be there within like 2 months, after the campaign ends. You got that with the month fulfillment, depending on how many people. I mean, I like that. I like the fact that you're getting a reasonable price of getting a book that's already been worked on. It's all set to go. You have the next 2 or 3 issues probably are going to be done soon, if not.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if like we're planning for all probabilities right now.
Yeah.
So we've done like I said, we're doing this on our own. So we have we don't have marketing anyone else backing us financially.
No.
This is Aurelio and I. This is our own money we put into this. But so we've done just enough right now to get this going. We've got all the covers are paid for. The first 6 pages are done, and 6 random pages of action we picked throughout the book for this are done, lettered, ready to go. Just got to finish the last 20, and we're.
So that's the worst thing you can do as a consumer, and especially as a person who's first self-publishing, is have delays. Yeah, to the point where people do not trust anymore.
Yeah, and Aurelio's in the chat. He said he is ready to go. He is ready to start because as soon as we hit that $5,000 goal, so we hit the 5K goal, it's like, all right, let's finish this sucker. Let's do this. We're cracking.
Yeah, and then by book 3, I want balloons and mugs, t-shirts.
What's that?
By book 3,
balloons and mugs.
T-shirts.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, I mean,
I want the hat, the little winter hat from Wisconsin.
For me at least, it's so important that you talked about transparency and communication because stuff happens, life happens, there's delays, and at least I feel like I'm an educated crowdfund investor, buyer, whatever you want to call it, where it's like, yeah, I know this isn't guaranteeing me a product, but I'm doing it on the faith because of what I've read or trust the creator or the creative team. And, I'm fine if there's a delay, just let me know what's going on. Right. If you're 3 months, past due, for example, and don't say anything, that's the time where I start to go, okay, have I made a mistake here? And I become less likely to, look at what you do in the future. And so again, that's why I really appreciate you talking about, the transparency and the communication, because I think that's one of the most important things with the crowdfunding campaigns. Because you have to let people know what's going on.
Yep, and like I said, full transparency. We are planning on fulfillment around spring next year for this, because like I said, we're giving the art team plenty of time to get all the art done, and then fulfillment should hopefully be March, April next year when we fulfill this, and then as soon as that's fulfilled, we're gonna start. We'll probably, hopefully before then, we're going to get some pages and everything done for Unholy Nightmare 2 and prep for launch next Halloween for number 2.
All right, so starting here, so basically here you get started here at campaign tomorrow, and it goes to end of the month, and then your fulfillments you're shooting for about March or April.
Yep. Yeah. So it's
too bad of a wait. And if you guys aren't signed up on Kickstarter, do it right now. It's easy. You can just all you guys do is just create a password, and put your email in there. And then I think you have to click a verification link. That's about it. But I mean, you guys do updates through there. Not only that, you're gonna get updates also probably through I mentioned your Facebook, right?
Yep, I'll be updating periodically on
Which-
Facebook, on Instagram, all that stuff.
I got your Facebook and also the Kickstarter actual link is in the chat, but it's also in the description down below. So all information like that. So if anybody wants to basically buy this book, I don't know why you would not want to. I'm intrigued. You know, like I said, the art is good. I know the storytelling is going to be fantastic. I love Born of Blood. I mean, it's got that 90s feel to it. You know, it's story driven, not message driven.
The characters are just each one is so unique and different, coming from different parts of the globe, different motivations, different backgrounds, different ages. That's what's great about it, and it's that true diversity, if you will, in character. You know,
put some of the art back up, so you know anybody new that's popped in here, seen it late can see it.
Okay, well, I was going to say,
I put it over my face. It's okay.
Well, I didn't want to exclude you, Kameen, from the.
Yeah, it's just I'm already enjoying like stuff I'm going to be incorporating in this issue too, like some small talk stuff. There's so Joe Ball, he's an artist for I don't know if you know Phil Diaz. He does the Lost Pages, Magic Cop. This is one of his artists, and Phil recommended me to him, and recommended him to me, and he killed this. And Andrew Mangum, right there, he killed it. That was the very first cover we got. I couldn't say no to that.
Yeah, and you said too this one here is the main cover, so this is going to be the $10
correct
cover. Eric, I'm gonna smack you.
I just saw that bit of Riley Rossmo art if it hides case face.
Yeah, I mean, I will say Riley Rossmo so far has done his best art on Sandman #1. So
yeah. All right, and then here is the villain story.
Or here she's a demon.
One of the villains.
We don't know yet.
Yeah, because
she could be an anti-hero.
Yeah, it's very nebulous. You know, the role that she plays or one of her personalities plays in this. So,
or what's the opposite of an anti-hero? A positive villain?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what's great about these characters. You know, they all have different motivations, and she's gonna be tricky. I cannot phone it. I can't phone it in with her. So I'm gonna bust my ass to make her be a convincing character, and
I'm just waiting for the Frank Cho variant. Outrage.
Man, if like I said, there are certain artists I want to do covers. If we make enough money, there are artists I already have in mind. I want to get variants from, and he's one of them.
Yeah. Okay, folks. So if we can push this up to 6 figures at a launch, you might be able to get a Frank Cho variant cover. Is what I'm hearing.
Or an Adam Hughes.
yeah, or an Adam Hughes. Yeah, or an Adam Hughes.
Well, I don't know. There's not much cheesecake on here, you know. That's
he's good. He can still do the cheesecake. He's good at it.
Right.
And there's Aurelio's right there. So we're gonna reveal the full color variant tomorrow.
I gotta give mad props to him because there's a lot of people who cannot ink their own stuff. You know, they need someone else to ink it. Todd McFarlane, John Romita Jr. They need someone else to ink them, and like when you're able to do your own inks and still make it look awesome, or even more awesome than your normal sketches, that's great. That's talent, you know. And because I said, like, it just feels like sometimes these artists like, oh, they're so great, but then if they're inking their own stuff, you can see the difference between the quality drop. You know,
Aurelio is a superstar in the making. I'm really hoping this book, this title, it all gives him enough exposure that people start demanding him for work.
Don't expose yourself.
Yeah, you don't want us exposing ourselves.
I just love this opening with the bats and everything. It's just like I get that like Batman / gargoyles, you know, Ninja Turtles, you know, the skyline. I love that. You know,
there's a lot of things hinting at in the plot on this page. So, like I said, we got the full moon, we got some bats, we've got a costume individual in the background, as you can see, he's got highlighted behind him, leaping above the building.
It's in Gary, Indiana.
And you're going to destroy Gary, Indiana. So I mean, it's a
I
plus all the way around.
I
mean,
didn't have
the only
to.
thing would make it better is if you were destroying West Lafayette, but maybe we'll save that for issue 2.
Are we gonna see any historical landmarks?
Actually, yes, I do have plans in the subsequent issues. We're going to see some landmarks in probably in Chicago and Indiana. So
nice.
But yeah, when I chose Gary because I'm sure I've driven through Gary a number of times, and every time I've driven through there, whether it's during the day, morning, night, it is a ghost town. There is no one there, no one out on the road, nothing. It is the town that time forgot, and it feels like a Stephen King story. And I'm like, you know what? If I were going to commit an illegal act, Gary, Indiana would be the place.
Well, it reminds me of the other show, Erie, Indiana, in the 90s too. They had all the weird stuff happening. It's like Elvis is there. He's alive. It's just like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Well, I'd say Erie was probably more set in central or southern Indiana. So
yeah.
I'm just saying. I mean, I've never been to Indiana, but I'm sure it's just like going to southern Illinois, or you guys got some farms there too, some farmland.
Yeah.
Open land.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it could be down like in the Bloomington or Franklin, Indiana, or somewhere.
Yeah. Well, there may be snow in this book. Make it a real horror movie. Bad winter, a snowstorm. Someone being thrown inside a snowblower.
Wow.
I love the visor on here, and I'm getting that Jack of Hearts kind of by his costume a little bit.
Yeah, this was all Aurelio's design. This cybernetic warrior, and I was like, you know what? I said we'll make him like the bodyguard hitman for the dealers. I'm sorry, for the suppliers. Like he'll be kind of overseeing the exchange.
I'm seeing some little looks like a dagger and some Harukins, like I think they're called ninja throwing stars.
Mm-hmm.
No swords?
Maybe not yet, but all I gotta say is someone had to have put them together. So
needs a lightsaber. make it real 90s. Everybody, you already got the laser guns. Now you need the energy swords.
It's not a bad idea for subsequent issues. We'll see what happens.
And it looks like he just threw some stars or daggers into her.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, Aurelio saying it's his homage to Robot Ninja movie. So I can definitely see that.
So I saw a Mexican RoboCop movie over the past couple weeks. I came across it just on the Internet Archive. I was like, "What is this?" It's a guy wrapped in tinfoil. It's like this is RoboCop. So of course you got your no, this is an animal. The guy at the bottom, that's just a normal guy, right?
So this is the head drug. This is the head drug dealer. We're introducing. He is the leader of the false prophets, and there's a drug deal going on between the dealers and the suppliers. He's leader of the dealers, and Jenny, she's an undercover cop, but somehow, some way, she's turning into a wolf. And Recluse is confused. He didn't know about this. The dealer's like, what the hell is going on here? Everyone's confused. But something doesn't go too well for him because he sees that apparently she may want to get some little revenge on him.
So this is it's not transmitted. Is this a transmitted disease at all? It's not if somebody scratch you, bites you, you can.
What's that?
This isn't a transmitted disease.
No.
So only through stuff.
Okay.
No. It's real things.
No.
But we're crossing over with species.
There's going to be something hinted in one of the panels in one of the pages that wait a minute. Oh, is that why she suddenly okay? But I don't want to spoil it. But yep, there it is.
Yeah, Venkman keeps trying to poke you for spoilers here. I'm like, dude, give it all away.
Well, no. I'm just saying. It's like I said. I have questions, but he doesn't have to answer them.
I say I don't want to spoil too much because
Well, I'm just saying. As I said, I love the superhero genre. As far as that, I love the fact that you can have incorporate all different things you want into a book. And like I said, like I said before, there's nothing wrong with cliche. You know, as long as you actually have a story to go with it. You know, if your story's cliche, that's one thing. If you have cliche elements peppered through there, that's okay.
You know, like this one, it makes sense to me. You know, and it really, like I said, we're kind of calling back to a lot of werewolf lore, especially like I said in some of the films.
Nice.
So there's going to be a lot of familiar elements in this series, and what we have in store for Jenny and her backstory, we hopefully can tell, should be very interesting.
All right.
Sounds awesome.
Will there be a soundtrack?
You know, that's not a bad idea. You know, hadn't thought of that. You know,
I see that Common America, they have, you know, where they have that too. They have their own soundtrack right now. So like, and there's so many people trying to do some of the little animation stuff. I'm just thinking like soundtrack. I never would have thought of that for a comic book, you know. But like, see these other indie books too. And you scan a barcode and like in the back of their book, and it takes you to like
We Live did that. Yeah.
I was like, that's kind of cool. You know, this is what you listen to while you're reading the book. But I'm like, to me, it's like that's distracting. I want to read the book, not listen to the music.
I could see honestly like 9 Inch Nails being played, you know, during this.
Well, I shared it on Instagram with the Creeping Death by Metallica.
Metallica works too. Yeah.
Well, that can be a teaser for a future issue. I mean, I think it took Tim and company at least like 4 or 5 before they got to the point where they were releasing a soundtrack. So,
one last question, if you could say this or not, is this modern day or is this set in the 90s?
Yeah. Modern day.
Okay. I love the stories that take place in the 90s because it's like so vintage. No.
Yeah, you know, I thought of that. Well, the cool thing is, if you're reading this, it could be current day, it could be the 90s, it could be early 2000s. You don't really know. Yeah. And like I said, the cell phone smart tech is the bane of any storytelling right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
like I said, I read recently. I was going through again. I was looking at the Boom Studios Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is the reboot, but it's set in like 2019. It's not set in the 90s. And one of the stories, the issues they had them go back to a portal, and they ended up on because it's a multiverse. They went to a 90s version of that, and it was like oh my gosh! I just love how it's just so contrasts with one another. But yeah, that's the other thing too is that everybody's got cell phones, smartphones. But if you look at some of the 90s Image books, you know, Image was what, 97, 98? When did they start?
Image 91, 92.
Okay, they were much earlier. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I thought they were earlier, but you look at some of their early stuff, and there's future tech in those too. You know, just like it was in the 80s. It's just like it's to me, it's like, is everyone going to get a smartphone, or are people have the flip phones? You know.
Yeah, or are they going to have phones in the first place? You know, it's just the
comm links.
I'm trying to. I'm working on incorporating almost like why they're not going to use phones. And one thing I've learned, and it's going to be elements. So I'm actually working on other stories right now. With one with Marat Michaels, and I'm working on workarounds of cell phones and everything, and smart tech and all that. So I'm going to be doing something like that with this too, just explaining why they're not using them.
Yes, I'm looking at the top image right here, drawn beautifully. It looks like he's firing some kind of projectile. Either it's bullets or it's lasers. You know.
Yeah, but like I said, we already know Aurelio and I. We already know who the scientist is, who may or may not be supplying the drug and supplying these his guards, his suppliers with these weapons. So it makes sense how he's able to acquire these weapons.
Evil drug lords. I love it. It's like, and as I kept thinking, like too, as I'm thinking ahead, it's like what if he's not the big bad guy? What if there's some even beyond further than that? The big cats. This guy's just a supplier. There's someone back in that, and there's someone back in that. You could just go on forever.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like we had Lex Luthor had Intergang,
Mm-hmm.
But I love that when the character works from the shadows. If you do see him, you see like a silhouette. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. It's cheesy. It may come off cheesy, but other people. But I just love that. It's like
it's thematic.
Yeah. It's like
So,
and then
is this you saying that you like the Sovereign then?
I've never read the Sovereign.
You know what I'm talking about? The new Wonder Woman book isn't
that. I thought
that's been hiding in the shadows for
decades. I'm talking about a new character, not something like he's doing an independent book here with these all new characters. When you have it, it's different. To me, it's different when you have established already characters and these villains. To say that this character's been here forever, when clearly he hasn't, though. That I don't like that aspect with that Sovereign. But I mean, like as far as it's a fresh start. We've never heard anything about these characters beforehand, so there's no way you could have this character's been here this whole entire time, but they didn't know about it. You can't do that. It's just bad storytelling, at least my opinion. Now,
with these characters like the Recluse, like we're establishing, like he's like the John Wick. He's like a John Wick Spider-Man guy, but he's closer. He's like in his latter 30s, early 40s. So he's been established in Chicago as this vigilante character for the last like 20 years. Like I said, this is what a Spider-Man, went over the edge. So clearly we're going to set it up. Maybe he was younger and he had these powers and he was a young, hopeful vigilante, and things changed, and maybe the police are out to find him now. He's got arrest warrants.
Lost his younger brother to drugs.
What's that?
Lost a loved one to drugs.
Not exactly, but we have thought about thoroughly these characters and how they could have existed, and how how some have managed to stay hidden behind the scenes.
You say John Wick, so I assume there's a dog. The dog died. The dog was killed by a drug dealer or a drug peddler. Just war on drugs since he's been 12.
Oh, Venkman.
Hey.
So
I left myself too, okay?
Yeah. Hey, you don't know. You got to pick up the book and you got to read it to find out.
So
yeah.
All right.
So hard not to spoil anything about this. But
I know. It's like,
but
I love that's your reaction. You're so excited to talk about it, but there's stuff you want to talk, but you can't until tomorrow.
Yeah.
Actually, no. Tomorrow launches. Are you going to say any more, or are you just going to be tight-lipped for us?
It's going to be pretty much talking about what I've just told you tonight. It's like I've already revealed quite a bit, but not a lot. So
it's a good thing me and LK are old. We'll just forget tomorrow.
What's that?
LK and I are both old. We'll forget tomorrow what you just said. I'll have to go back and look. Oh, well, I mean, so then PDFs, are they going to be included with people buying physical copies as well? Free PDF, or is it going to be still separate?
I think it may be separate. So
okay.
Yeah, it's like it'd be like an add-on. Like if you go to checkout, if you get like the Andrew Mangum cover, you can add the digital PDF to the cart or whatever. Yeah,
for an extra $5 or $15.
Yeah. Yep.
Because I know there's people like me who just want to read the book right away, and then get the physical in. But then there's people who just want to get the physical and they're willing to wait. I don't know who those people are, but I'm not one of them.
Yeah, everyone's different. It's like me. It's like I like to have to have the physical copies to save, to not touch. I like my digital copies to read. So,
like you said, this is gonna be 32 pages. You said how many?
This would be 26.
26 for $10.
Yep.
Cool. All right, it's a brand new issue from Mutant Farms.
Yep.
And
that's our publishing line. That's our publishing company. Yeah.
Nice. You know what threw me off, because you actually have your real name on there as the creator. That's what threw me off. So I'm like, I know you by so many different names. I was looking at you. I'm like, wait, that is him. So it's like, you're like the chameleon. I don't know what to call you. Because he's just keep changing. Is that your real name? Is Drew your name? Is Dolan your name? It's it's your name's Gary. Who knows?
But Aurelio's name is Aurelio. Aurelio's Aurelio.
Oh man.
Yeah. Well, as I say, I mean, I'm not a huge horror fan, so it's great seeing you do a superhero book. And as I say, I love the elevator pitch. I love the look of it. I'll definitely be signing up on day one and looking forward to reading it and adding it to the collection.
Awesome. Thank you. And I hope it's
Nice.
good enough for you to come back to issue 2 when we're able to get that knocked out. So yeah, that's going to be fun. That's gonna be
my
fun,
problem is like unless I check the website or no, I sometimes I forget. It's like you could tell me it's launching this day. It's like, oh shit, I was supposed to do this.
Well, that's what the
sign-up's for. You get it's what the sign-up for.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have email alerts on my phone, so it's like on my PC. So if I come on my PC, then I'll have to check like the email. But like, I'm not one of those persons that checks their email every day. So,
but even when it launches, like I'll be posting it on Facebook, Instagram. I'll be like, "We are live," or like do like the "It's time." Like
you're gonna send me
UFC
text alerts from Dolan. Hey, my book's out.
Yeah, since we're kind of wrapping up here, how's Kyle doing? Because he had a new baby a few months ago, right?
Yeah, he's little Jack. Yeah, he's doing good. He had a little cough. He's doing all right right now. Baby's it's like 5 months old right now. It's wild. 4 months. Yeah,
started talking and walking around.
Yeah, pretty soon. Yeah, just he's a little handful, but yeah, Kyle's doing good. He's getting a little bit more sleep now. He wasn't getting that much a few months ago, but he's getting a couple extra hours now, which is good.
No,
honey,
awesome.
I got to write. I got to do stuff, and it's like I can't watch the kid. Where's the kid? In the corner.
Yeah. So now are you still working at the shop now, or you basically become a full-time writer?
I'm pretty much a full-time writer now. That's what I'm doing right now. Like I said, Murad's keeping me busy with all these projects I'm working on, and Unholy Nightmare's keeping me busy. But I still got my big boy job that I do as well, and I still do the YouTube thing on the weekends. So yeah, I'm always busy. Always something to do.
How was the convention?
New York was good. New York was a lot of fun. I got to meet my my white whale artist I've always wanted to meet my whole life. I got to meet Stephen Platt, and that was arguably the best experience I've ever had meeting a creator. So I was running the booth for Comics Elite upstairs, and two of the girls who are running to get signatures, I gave them my case of Stephen Platt books. I'm like, hey, can you run these downstairs? Here's $100. Can you have Stephen Platt sign these, please? And they came back up like 30 minutes later. They were all signed, and they had said to me that Stephen was shocked by all the old rare ones I had, like stuff he'd never seen before. I was like, that's awesome. But eventually, about an hour after that, I went downstairs to meet Stephen Platt. And I told him, hey, my crew, they brought down some of my books for you to sign. I want to say thank you for signing those. It means a lot to me. I've been a fan of your work since I was a kid. And he's like, those were your books? I'm like, yeah. He reached over, took the top of my hand. He said, thank you so much for those. And that was awesome. Just reached over the table, shook my hand, said thank you. And
I said that as experience you want to have as a creator, as a young creator, and because you think that it might be you one day.
Yeah.
On the other side.
Absolutely.
And that's cool. You can pay it forward, and and it all comes back. It's just.
Yeah. So I picked up one of his sketchbooks, and
nice.
I love it. It's amazing. It's so cool that he was working on one of his commissions there at the booth. And if you've never seen a Stephen Platt commission, they are amazing. And what you get for like $150 is insane. It's like a cover quality commission you get from him. It's ridiculous. One of the best, legend, nothing but great things to say about him.
Anyone else there that you came across, other than Stephen Platt?
Yeah, I got to meet David Quinn for the first time. David Quinn's the co-creator and writer of Faust, Love of the Damned with Tim Vigil.
Oh, cool.
He wrote Doctor Strange in a period and back in the 90s. Great guy. I've interviewed him a few times. Incredibly nice guy. Got to meet him for the first time in New York. Just incredibly great dude. Incredibly nice dude. Just great talking with him. Just another great experience I had meeting him.
All right. Where do you go for food there? Because you're at the convention all day.
Yeah, we got some pizza a few nights.
Hey, Rick Latsmaki is now into the chat. Okay. I've never been to New York, so I'm just curious. Where do people go for
Yeah, we got some pizza a few nights. We got some New York style pizza. It's delicious. And we got some sushi another night. So we were staying at a hotel, and Wednesday night we were setting up the booth, and we got back to the hotel that Wednesday night. We're sitting up at the bar, eating dinner, having drinks, and we had noticed, off in the corner, that these groups of guys were walking into the hotel to walk around this corner, and they were just sitting down, and drawing, just sitting down and drawing and writing. I'm looking at Zach, who is running comics lead in the booth. I'm like, what's going on here over there, man? I don't know. Fortunately, one of the guys from back there walks up to the bar to get some drinks. And I asked him, oh, excuse me. Hey, what's going on back there? He's like, oh yeah, a few of us, we're artists from out of the country. We're here for the convention. We're just doing some drawing right now. It's like, oh, really?
That's
and
cool.
He's like, I was like, really? Who's all back there? He said, Ivan Coelho, Raphael Albuquerque, Ricardo Federici.
Wow.
It's like, wait, what? He's like, the guy was like, oh, you know them? I'm like, yeah. It's like, you want to come say hi? It's like, yeah. So Zach and I walked over, and he introduced us to all of them. They all came over shaking our hands, and we got to see all the art that they're working on.
That's cool.
Ivan Coelho, so damn cool. That guy. Oh my God, so nice. He was working on one of his new Fantastic Four pages, just right there at the table. And all of his pages are all physical. It threw me. I thought he was a straight up digital artist. No, that's all physical. And he is charging a pretty penny for his interior art. That's all I got to say.
This one's got pizza sauce on it. That's extra.
the Doug Ernst variant.
Yeah, it's the Doug Ernst variant. That is just cool. Like you said, just randomly walking in, and then because convention, you never know who you're gonna run into there. Other people are just fans, other creators just like yourself, who maybe not be as well known, but that's just the break they get. That's like I said, word of mouth. How you got your team here for your book. People who maybe never met before and just happen to just chat one time, and that person knows another person. Yep. That is cool.
Yeah, I'm only hoping that this book and this series is successful enough that we can have a Mutant Farm booth at New York. And someday.
This is all. This is all physically hand drawn.
So not all of it. There's going to be some pages hand drawn by Aurelio. Aurelio's doing some. Okay. That's going to be one of the perks you can get on the campaign. You can get one of the original interior pages.
It's one of the things I like. I like seeing the hand drawn art like that. Mm-hmm. A lot of people do a lot of digital, so they don't get the messy hands anymore. I look at Lucio Perillo. He's one of my favorite artists I discovered about a couple of years back, and just he paints everything. Those giant boards, he does that, and then they just shrink it down. It's just like I love that process. He does it on Facebook. He shows you everything that's going step by step. Now with AI art, coming out now, it's like. I see that with Marvel's doing that with some of their openings because they're in a strike. They had the Secret Invasion. They had the AI procreated. So it's disturbing to see if that AI art's going to be in anything popping up in any of these Kickstarter books and stuff. Obviously not in yours, but
no,
it is kind of scary to see because you got some of these artists that kind of look like AI art, but they're not. So it's like I said I always love seeing. Whenever an artist is drawing something, I love seeing them working on it, stuff. You know,
Yeah,
so
that's what I love about. I love sharing Aurelio's process.
Yeah.
I see everything from the SketchUp to the pencils to the inks to the colors.
Does he have an Instagram or Facebook account where he does anything like that at all?
Aurelio has an Instagram. I think it's Aurelio Mazzara is his Instagram. Yeah, Aurelio. Type in your Instagram in the chat.
I don't know if he can. I don't know if he can type the in here, but
yeah, it should be Aurelio Mazzara.
Okay. Yeah, I'll put it in the notes at the bottom of the video here. So, but yeah, no, I would love to see a Mutant Farms table come down to our little convention here in Hot Springs. So,
yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, just like I would just a few minutes. Okay, he's gonna be doing that. So, I want us to get out and about. You know, I can't wait to get the physical copies, get enough, to be able to, after fulfillment, be able to go to conventions and just be able to show them off, sell them to people.
Yeah, well, I mean, definitely. So, yeah, we've got a small comic book pop culture convention here in Hot Springs, Arkansas. It's in mid-September. Yeah. So it's fun. I wish, it'd be nice to have another comic book related table, because I'm sure you've seen it. The conventions you go to, it seems like more and more of them are getting dominated by anime and everything else that's not comic book related.
Yeah, it drives me nuts. I hate it, and that's why I love Terrificon in Connecticut. I believe firmly that in Baltimore, those are the two best comic book conventions in the world, because they are pure comic book shows, especially Connecticut through the Terrificon. That is comic books through and through, and I love it.
Trying to see if he's on your look at his Instagram. So I'm looking through the likes on your see if it's in there. I can just
yeah. So what have you been reading, or what has really kind of caught your eye lately?
Conan has been, in my opinion, one of the best right now. Ice Cream Man, World's Finest from DC. I've thoroughly enjoyed that, and especially right now with Kingdom Come being reintroduced. Incredible Hulk by Philip Kennedy Johnson's been good. Moon Knight's picking back up. Moon Knight was kind of hitting a lull for a period, but it's picking back up right now. A lot of the 90s throwback books have been really good. I'm very curious to see how the Daredevil one turns out. But I think those are the ones I'm really Sacrificers has been another one by Rick Remender. Okay. Really good.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard good things.
Yeah,
about that. So, one I picked up recently that I was really pleasantly surprised how much I enjoyed it was they came out with a Wild Cards graphic novel recently. It was Melinda Snodgrass was the writer on it. Shoot, I forget the artist now, but he had a very, very much of like an Alex Ross type style.
Yeah, that was based on a George R. R. Martin story, right?
Yeah, it's based on the Wild Cards novel series, which you talk about, I read in college, first discovered back in the early 90s, and have always loved. I mean, I think it's one of the best kind of representations of when people tried to take superheroes and put them into a realistic
it's creepy. Cal and I reread the first few issues. We're like, what the hell is this? It's like George R. R. Martin brings you his X-Men, for the series.
Yeah,
and it's pretty wild. And not necessarily X-Men, but like it brings.
Not that, but I didn't want to give George R. R. Martin all the credit, because he is more or less kind of an editor on that book. There's a lot of other people that. So if you go back and look at the first volumes, I mean, it started out as an idea, I think, like at a science fiction convention, that a bunch of well-known sci-fi writers were just tossing around ideas, and it became, hey, let's go ahead and do this. And so most especially the early novels are written by multiple sci-fi writers, and Martin was kind of the executive editor, or kind of like helped put it together. For those out there, no, he has not been spending time writing Wild Cards while neglecting Fire and Ice. That's he's got other things he's been doing to neglect it, and will never finish that.
He's got naps. He's got naps to take. Come on.
But yeah, no, it's one of those things where it definitely, especially right now in the comic book industry, it's very easy to get, lack of a term, depressed or get stuck on the bad stuff. And the thing is, there's so many books out there now that there are good books out there. It's just hard for them certainly to find traction.
Yeah.
And you have to do a lot of searching sometimes to find the good stuff.
Yeah, no, you're right. Like, and I really hate that I don't use it. I hate saying that oh yeah, all comics today suck. No, it's not true. It's like it's a very hyperbolic statement, and it's like, no, it's like there are some legit good comics out there. There aren't many, but they are there. They do exist, and that's what I think. Wes and I, when we do our best of the week, we like to think that that's showing people, hey, these are some of the good ones that we can legitimately back and support, that I think you guys would enjoy.
That was one of the reasons why we Professor Pixel and I created this channel, because that way you just talk about the good books that are still coming out. Because there's a lot of people who were reading books I know just stopped reading them because they just got sick of just spending way too much money on a book that wasn't as good as the good old days, or just the fact that a lot of the books were just being taken over by the woke culture, and just at the point where you couldn't pick up a book without seeing something in there, that was supposed to be like they just want to shove in your face. There's a few books that I like, that a lot writers. For me, my number one writer that I actually love following is Jeremy Adams.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy Adams. I love Joshua Williamson when he's on The Flash. That's what got me back into comic books. I had quit around like 2013. I was done with book companies. I just didn't care anymore. I saved billions of dollars by not buying comic books. And then so I came back in 2019 and I picked up Josh Williams' Flash, and I was like, I've never read Flash before, never cared for it. Picked it up, I enjoyed it, and then Josh Williamson left, and then I'm like, who is this other guy? Like, it's Jeremy Adams. I've never heard of this name. Just happens. Okay, I'll take a chance on it. I read the next issue, and I was like, wow, this is really good. And then you got Wally West, the family dynamic. I love that. The fact, because I always like Fantastic Four. You have the family, you have working together. Wally West has his kids back. I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen his kids since Mark Waid's run.
Yeah.
It is cool, and it just got the part. It was just so uplifting. And then the more I read about him, or just seeing on his Instagram posts, like he's got 2 young daughters. His family goes to church stuff. You could see that this guy actually knew what he was writing. He has the real life experience. It's not like some of these other guys who were trying to write a marriage, but are either divorced or never been married. So it was like I said, it's cool to see a guy who actually understands the concept he's trying to write. Where someone who does no research whatsoever and just figures, what, I'm working Marvel DC. I don't care. They're paying me. You like it, or like Tim Sheridan.
No,
but by my book is to say.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I mean, there are writers who honestly, truly understand and know human relationships.
Yeah.
And then there are other writers who simulate and think they understand what a computer believes a relationship is.
It's ChatGPT.
I'll just say this right now. I am not a fan right now of Cy Spurrier's Flash run for 2 issues in. But I read issue 1, and that his interpretation of the Flash family, nothing felt right about it at all.
It's whatsoever. The opposite. It feels like it's just we're going back to a base where it's like, well, we can't have his family be happy anymore. And I saw the hint. It's like, Gorilla God's like, saying, oh, sorry about the breakup. What?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm like, no, we're not doing the Peter MJ bullshit. I'm out.
Well, not just that. I mean, hasn't Wally been through enough shit, the past 5 years to have to go through this again? I mean, Heroes in Crisis was so bad, they had to immediately retcon that crap, almost immediately retcon it, to fix Wally again from what happened. And this, if Spurrier goes down this road, he is in for a rude awakening. That's all I got to say. He is going to enter a world of pain from the fans.
I was trying to figure out who this writer was, because I'd seen the name. It never really read his books. I went back and I looked back. Was it 2012? He did Constantine, and it got canceled after 12 issues.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder why.
Yeah. No, I mean, he doesn't have a very good track record. He's done some mediocre X books recently. He been in the X office a lot. I know right now, though, he probably cares more the fact that one of his, independent creator-owned things got turned into a Netflix series that's actually been getting some good buzz. But yeah, so at least, one thing, though, is you still have a good Flash book to go to, and that's the Jay Garrick Flash book, or at least through one issue so far. So
well, yeah, at least be a 3-issue limited series.
Yeah, well, I'm hopeful it'll continue. I was one of the big fans of the Stargirl Lost Children miniseries, and so seeing Judy, I thought it was really a clever way to kind of introduce. You talked about characters that we were backfilling these characters or whatever. I thought it was at least a clever way to try and create some of these kind of younger sidekick characters. That's
the way. If you're gonna see a character like this character's been here this whole time and no one's ever seen him, this is a more clever way to do it. Like I said, the fact that through time travel or any of these characters, effectively as speedsters, so we already know that they're able to travel the going through time. You have Our Man, all that stuff. It's been done before. Like I said, you have the building blocks to bring in a character, and like I said, this is the guy who he's very, very humble man. I've seen him in interviews like this. We're gushing over him when we have Dolan here, but I mean, like, Dolan, you're just as equally nice guy too, and you could put your heart and your soul in your books. It shows it.
Well, and there was one question I forgot to ask you, Dolan. So with Unholy Nightmare, there's no multiverse, right?
No.
There's a multiverse.
So there you go. If you needed yet one more reason to go out, get this book when the Kickstarter launches tomorrow. No multiverse. So you've got one universe of one universe of characters, and it's going to be great.
Instead of buying Wildstorm versus Waller, get this book.
Instead of buying Power Girl, or God forbid, what I would give for a good Carol Danvers book now, because
Alyssa Wong's on it now. Is that improvement or worse?
Well, as I say, it's classic Alyssa Wong, because the first issue introduces her self-insert character that is a plucky young thief who steals artifacts and winds up with the Negabants, and then it basically takes.
I wanted to tear the book in half as soon as I saw that. As soon as they cut off Janice Ville's hands, I wanted to rip that book in half. I just said, fuck her, fuck this. I am out. I could not believe that.
I laughed out loud at the moment when she banged the Negabants together, and then she and Carol swapped places, going, oh my God, they've actually borrowed a plot point from the Marvels.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. God.
So this also sounds similar to basically the second arc of Black Widow with Kelly Thompson, where she comes across a girl who tries to steal her wallet, and then later on that girl gets superpowers, and then she becomes an apprentice of Black Widow. And it's just like, can we stop just copying from other people? Just, put out an original idea, and Wes is too, as Wes is correct on this too. He says the fact that we're just canceling titles to relaunch them at #1 with the same story. Stop. Scarlet Witch is coming back for another 3 more times, probably.
with the same
written
creative
by Steve
team.
Orlando.
Yeah.
Hulk, Daredevil.
That's the most maddening, and and again, it's incredible at this point they still can't see the law of diminishing returns, that you're not getting the returns on the #1s like you used to. Just keep it going. I mean, there was no problem when you had Batman 120, and then suddenly, hey, here's a whole new creative team on 126, and the story continues. But hey, that's why we search out, and that's why there's opportunities for independent creators like Dolan and Aurelio to make their own thing and get the book out, and I think it's great.
Eric Breen says DC and Marvel are both completely dead. There are no more comebacks.
Yeah.
Well, Eric, you are the expert on death.
Well, and real quick, I will say what Eric just said. I talked to Aaron Sparrow. Aaron Sparrow's a good friend of mine. I talk to Aaron every day, and we both agree that we are beyond Marvel and DC right now. He and I, like, if they came to us, we would say no. I would absolutely say no in a heartbeat. They do not deserve my writing. They do not. They haven't earned it. There's no way I would lower myself to write for them.
What about the other companies? Got like Dark Horse or any of them? Smaller Boom Studios.
There's nothing. I mean, there's nothing really at Dark Horse I would really be interested in writing. I mean, honestly, no. It just I like doing my own thing, and I'm having a lot of fun doing my own thing. The fact knowing that I won't have a publisher, several editors being like telling me to fix this, change this, take this, and like, no, this is my thing. And I like that freedom.
Well, okay, if you had the freedom and you could just choose any popular IP that you like, to do, what would it be?
I would love to do the Bionic 6. It was a cartoon series from the 80s.
Oh yeah, very few people remember Bionic 6. That was a guilty pleasure back in the day. Love cartoon.
I love the Bionic 6, and I would love to do a Bionic 6 comic and get into the origin of Bionic 1 and just his relationship with the villains. I would just bringing the family together eventually, but like steadily building it up. I would love to get into that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, with all the recent kind of relaunches, and suddenly we're getting books. I know. Is it Dynamite that's going to be doing the Thundercats book?
Yeah.
And you've got a whole bunch of WB properties that are coming out. And then
is it Mad Cave? Or is Mad Cave with Joe Corallo, right? Doing the Knights of King Arthur, Knights of Justice?
Is that through Mad Cave or is it
I'm not sure.
Somebody else? But yeah, but I know that cartoon production company or whatever, they've got 4 or 5 properties that they're looking to.
Yeah. I was telling Dolan, as long as they finish the freaking story. It was canceled before.
Yeah. I would say a close second. I would love to do would be the Transformers, but it would be centered on Cup. Cup is probably as I've gotten older, I've come to really love Cup, just that old grizzled soldier, and I love that, and I would just love to tell a badass Cup story and undo what Max Visaggio did to him.
Well, you might be able to do that with Kirkman over at Skybound.
Yeah. So. But I mean, ask you, Dolan. I mean, the thing is that with DC and Marvel, what incentive would there be for you to create? Let's say you got onto Spider-Man and got to write Spider-Man. What incentive would there to be to create a new villain for Spider-Man to go up against?
There isn't, because it's not your character. It's Marvel's character. It's not yours. And funny you mentioned that. Like I'm reading a book right now. It's called The World versus Todd McFarlane. It's a really good book. It blows your mind. But they bring up how Eric Larson, Todd, Mark Silvestri, Rob, they all said how they didn't give their best at Marvel. They were all holding back, because they knew whatever they created, they owned. Marvel owned. It wouldn't happen. They couldn't own those characters. So they knew what's the incentive of creating these characters for those companies if we don't have a say in the characters, we don't own them. It's so if I were to, I would never. If I were working for Marvel, I would not be creating any characters for them. That's why Todd, when he worked at Marvel, he didn't create outside of Venom. He didn't create any new characters. He didn't. He worked with what was already established because he knew that he wouldn't own them.
I wonder if the attitude would change if they increase your royalties for the people who create stuff.
I know it's changed. I know it's changed a lot over the past few years, especially with DC. Things have gone back and forth, but honestly, I don't see the incentive.
Because Chuck Dixon said that it's like when some of those movies came out, he's like he has to fight with them just to get his checks,
Mm-hmm.
or they just, or it's just like it's delayed. It's like,
No.
what's the point?
No,
I mean, and then if you they said like
Yeah.
DC's got Dan Mora. Dan Mora walks. He can go back into what he wants to with his art, and then like they just lost a bunch of people going over to Mad Ghost,
Yeah.
Or,
we were there. Our booth was right next to the Mad Ghost booth. We saw them. Yeah, they were right there. We saw them all lined up right there. And periodically, I see Jeff Johns and Gary Frank walk by us. And like, hey, how'd it go today, boys? Like, yeah, all right.
You gotta start doing vlogs, okay? I want to see this stuff. I want to live
Jeff,
through you vicariously.
Yeah. Now there's somebody I would have had a stack of books going. Please sign.
Gary Frank, please. Junkyard Joe.
But like I said, when I see Marvel and DC, I see myself not having fun writing over there,
and that's weird because it used to be different.
Yeah,
it used to be the dream.
But what you talked about, Dolan, I mean, that's to me, I think, a lot of what's led to the stagnation too at the big two, and especially, I mean, it's the double-edged sword of suddenly all these people, with the explosion of superheroes into pop culture of, TV and movies and streaming and all this, there's no incentive for, especially a good creator to use, one of their own creations in a Marvel or DC book, because even if you can write the best contract, you're only going to get, a certain percentage of any use of that character. And of course, if you listen to Bill Willingham, good luck on keep holding them to that contract and actually getting your money on time. But, and I think that's just been a huge issue. And I think it's real interesting that the news that came out over the weekend or late last week about the person who I guess was between the Warner Brothers executive, I'll call it head accountant, and Jim Lee and companies left the company, and now Jim Lee and the president of DC are now reporting directly to this Warner Brothers executive, and it's got me going. How long until the bean counters finally start to look at what DC Comics is actually making?
Yeah,
and are they going to, finally maybe shutter the publishing line and make it more of, hey, we're just going to go license these characters out, and it's just going to be kind of non-continuity stories from here on out because we've got all these decades of stories that we can mine for TV and movies.
Well, that's the thing too. Yeah, you remember you going from the late '90s to early through the mid 2000s. It was just DC animated projects were the big thing, and now they kind of dwindle down. You're lucky if you get one a year. Justice League cartoon introduced me and a bunch of other kids, same with the Batman animated series, to the comic books and stuff like that. I mean, sure, Marvel had their Spider-Man cartoons and stuff. And some of the older people who are like LK grew up with Super Friends. Mine was Justice League. I got the better version of the cartoon, but obviously. but I mean, like, that made me want to go and buy stuff, and it's like I could see them just kind of like scaling back on the comic books and just focusing on merch and cartoons.
Oh, it's
that's where the money. I mean, it's guaranteed. The merch is guaranteed money, and it'd be even more guaranteed money if they did license out the IPs. They make so much money off just doing that. And but I really truly think I think the other shoe to drop, the beginning of next year. I think right around springtime next year, I think we're going to see a lot of changes.
Yeah,
but we'll see what happens.
There's a couple I saw. I was reading about Vampirella, how she went from Marvel over to Dynamite, and this couple just bought the rights to the character as far as at least the developing more in the comic books, and just seeing how that character is just no, it's not Vampirella. Sorry, Red Sonja. Same thing. They're pretty much these days. Red Sonja has been basically how that character just took off from being a kind of like a small book. Those weren't Marvel. Went for 3 volumes, and then that was kind of it. And then they come back in when it was 2005. They launched it at Dynamite, and it's been going strong. I thought Dynamite is exclusive to it, but I didn't realize it's this couple. The wife runs the Instagram, the Red Sonja official Instagram. You know, she does all that every day. Posts. She's even been one of the models, like the cosplay models. And can I say one thing about cosplay models? If you're gonna be a character that's kind of got a certain figure, you don't want to get someone who looks nothing like the character, you know, for the model, because you're selling to horny guys. Okay, these are guys who are seeing the cheesecake covers. You know, at that point, just get Lucia Pearl on every single freaking cover and just having them draw women, because or you know, or Gary Frank or whatever. It's like. To me, it's just when I get stuck, I'm like, oh, what's left on the shelf? The ugly cosplay models covers left. No,
is this your not so subtle way of saying that, hey, Mutant Farms needs to bring back the booth babes for their, you know, the next time they're at a convention?
Wait, they got rid of them? You actually
actually, let's just say I'm friendly with a cosplayer, a professional cosplayer. She's actually on several Dynamite covers for Red Sonja and Vampirella and others. And let's see. We're working on something.
Does the name start with a G? Does the name start with a G?
I can neither confirm nor deny that at this time.
Yeah. But like I said, I always thought about that with Dynamite. Like, you got all these covers, and then it's like, I always rush my store because I don't want to get stuck with the cover that I don't like. You know, that's and honestly, the cover shouldn't matter really, because the interior should be good. You know, but like, the cover is equally as important to me. That's why I'm like, I don't really like cosplay covers.
No, it covers really initially. They are the initial selling point of the comic. When you in a comic book shop, that cover that makes the first impression.
Like,
and from there, I hope someone takes their thumb and index finger and just turns that cover and enjoys the first page.
Instead of cosplay covers, just have posters or variants. You know, I don't want it as a variant cover. Just give me like a poster I can put up then. You know. Because that's what guys do. Put it as a calendar. Give me the girl cosplay color girls of Dynamite, whatever. Do that stuff. Do what Xenoscope does, you know? Yeah. They've got market on that.
Or they could do what FemForce AC Comics used to do back in the day and put that on the back cover. They give you the front cover that sells the book, and then the back cover had the cosplay pen.
Or Harris has
for the eternal FemForce movie that is still at this point, 30 years in development?
Well, they won't be much of a force at this stage. They'll be there. They'll be fem seniors. But But I mean, but I remember Harris with the Vampirella books in the 90s. It actually put you'd be a big deal, like, oh, the cosplay cover or a poster inside the book, the inserts. Like, I miss that stuff like that. If you're gonna do that, but if you're giving me 30 covers, I don't want 3 different versions of Lucia Pearl. Here's the ultraviolet. Here is the green tinted one. Here's the red one. It's like, come on, guys. I mean, it's like, at that point, it's like, I mean, because I used to see that all this stuff crap on Kickstarter when Kickstarter came around. That was the first thing I saw with comic books, was they were doing all those, and then all of a sudden, like, other companies started copying that. It's like, no, you guys don't have to do that. You're selling your books for $4, whatever. Don't charge me an extra $6 because you want to have the variant cover. I mean, but I can understand it why they do it, because there are someone who's going to buy if they say it's 49 covers, someone's going to collect all of them. There's always that one person, and if you get enough of those in your shop coming every day, the shop owner's like, more power to you, you know. But 1 in 50, 1 in 100 variants, that's just insane.
Yeah. Well, that's where, again, kind of the problem with the comic book industry is it's decided to cater to the whales instead of actually developing, a generation of readers. And now they're stuck. But in this case, though, I mean, with what Dolan is doing here, Unholy Nightmare, kicking off tomorrow, great book, and there's just but there's plenty of options there. For you to support the book.
What is the actual starting time of the Kickstarter campaign? Like
7 p.m.
7 p.m. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So
all right.
A late night start.
Yeah, hey, it's a Halloween night, primetime start. We figured, that'd be a good time. But
Cool.
We'll see what
No,
happens.
that's good. It is sometimes annoying where I've had a couple of Kickstarters that start like at 9 or 10 a.m. and it's like, oh, okay, I gotta set a little alarm here or make sure I check my email so I don't forget.
That's always
to
Tim.
be
He's like,
to be able to get my my plushie or my statue option here. So
yeah, I know John. That's Tim Lemmy does that early in the morning. It's like what? It's like limited copies of
he's
this.
not the only one, but he's not.
But I mean,
the only
like
one.
that's when you say plushie, that's the first thing of is Tim. Get your little, the first 10,000 or 5,000 people get a free beanie, or option to buy it. One of our guys on here, Zach, he has the little like the beanie, but it's supposed to like the hamster guy from Black Ops, or not hamster. What is he?
Well, there's Badger, the capybara from Common America.
That's Kid Badger.
Yeah, that was the beanie that came out in the last one.
He came on here on one of Tuesday nights and he had it on. I was like, dude, no.
I've got the common ramen
Speaking of which,
stopper.
Any Born of Blood t-shirts at all? I never asked. I forgot to ask that.
Yeah, there was a Jay Ferguson Born of Blood T-shirt. I got it back here. Yeah,
awesome. How much is that going for?
I honestly, it's shocking. A lot of the back issues for Born of Blood, just how consistently they sell and how much they sell for. I do know like for the issue 1 on Kickstarter, we offered the cover gallery as an add-on. It was free. It's a freebie we included.
Mm-hmm.
That freebie, it sells for $10 on eBay.
Wow.
The cover gallery book just sells for $10. It's like, what is going on here? The freebie. And Sean was like, "Are you kidding me? We got boxes of them back here." I'm like, there you go, man. You got a fortune selling those.
Well, that was funny because Tim Linden said that he didn't realize that the people were hawking his books. So you had one guy, I forget what his original name is. Like he's, he goes by 10 Cent Story now. I think is what his name is. But his name was Captain Cummings. And he said,
"Oh my God, Captain Cummings! Holy shit!"
He said, he's like, Tim, I buy your book, and then I buy a copy, whatever, and then I hawk it on eBay and get twice as much more money.
Oh yeah, no, I knew a couple people have done that with some various Kickstarter campaigns, and hopefully one of the variant artists you have that blows up the way that Peach Momoko has. I mean, I know probably too many people realize this, but Peach Momoko did a Patriotica variant cover before she got huge, and that goes for a ton of money on eBay now.
Rhaegar's bringing you up in the chat. And,
and
so Mahler sold some stuff, and then even Rags, and he's like, "It's right, they don't have Effect comic."
And what's his name? Shikari. One of his first covers he did was a Born of Blood #1. That was one of his first before he blew up. And I think one of those that one's kind of hard to get. That's especially the topless one. That one's hard to find.
I'm just glad that your artist is staying through the whole entire book, unlike Dan Moore, who left 5 issues into Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and the art just dropped. It went from looking Sarah Michelle Gellar to looking like the guy Sloth from. The art was just so much. It was like from Mora to Rosmo. It's like, what happened here? Who was in charge of this, and why aren't they fired?
Finding a talented interior artist consistently is very difficult to find, and I've been so damn blessed to have, in my opinion, some of the best interior artists I have in my resume I've worked with, like from Aurelio to Carlos Beccaria to a soon-to-be artist, I can't mention his name, Matt Weldon, Sajjad Shah. These are great. L.A. Garza. These are guys I've worked with. I've been so blessed to work with these guys. And when I see, like you said, some of the guys like you just mentioned working on that Buffy book, like the follow-up, I'm like, I would blow my brains out and be embarrassed of this comic. This is my artist. And then I'm just so glad that Aurelio, he co-created this with me. He's excited about this. He wants to draw this. He wants to draw every issue. And that's going to be, we're going to be.
Well, that was the thing too, is as soon as Dan Mora left, like the art, the book started going into a very virtue signaling direction. And it's just like, what happened? And sort of like, did he leave because of that crap? He didn't want to be a part of it? or I mean, but and then as soon as that, I went the lady. I'm not gonna say what her name is because I don't want to embarrass her because she probably is embarrassed by her writing. If not, should be. Like the as soon as she was gone off the book before it ended, because it went for like 40 issues, and some guy took over towards the end, and his last 10 issues were better than her entire run on the book. And
Wow.
it's because he just went more into this to the lore. You could change. I'm saying it's an AU, an alternate, because because they established that this is the reason why it looks so different. Reboot. It's not. It's a soft reboot because it's a different universe, different parts. But yeah. So I mean, I like that when you actually can have an artist stay on the book. Because that's the one thing with ongoing books. There's the big two. It's like you have ongoing. One needs to take a break, and then you're like, as a reader, you're like, okay, is this artist coming back time any soon? It's Marco Cicchetto on Daredevil. He started taking breaks, and then Mike Hawthorne, started taking over, and you could see the quality dip. And then I forgot what book I'm reading now, but I was looking.
Yeah, and he's getting in. We'll see how long he lasts on Ultimate Spider-Man. See how many consecutive issues he can do.
Well, that's the other too. Is like having your art done on time. That's like too. A lot of these artists, do not. They don't have time to catch up. That was the guy. Who was the guy? Was it earlier this year? Came out with artist for Catwoman. It said he was being overworked. He didn't have enough time to get his art done. Because they're stretching him thin on different projects. Like I said, I just like it when you actually have people who are committed to create a team. They're able to do this. They have that habit of basically getting their stuff done on time. And remember, because that's why Marvel brought in Jim Shooter, because people were so delayed. They weren't getting their stuff handed in time, writers and artists. And now you look at the state of comics today after we get rid of that mentality where the editors are just a name. There's no accountability.
Well, so, I don't think we'll have that issue here because Dolan and Aurelio are excited, and they're the co-owners of this, so they will be doing this themselves, and it's pretty awesome. And so I know we've been going about 2.5 hours here.
Yeah,
so
I know. It's like,
wrap this up, but Dolan, definitely let you have the last word here. Plug again. I mean, Kickstarter starts tomorrow.
Yep.
It sounds like a great book. Why don't you throw in your elevator speech one more time there for anybody new that's popped in?
Unholy Nightmare. You have heroes becoming monsters to take down evil monsters. That's your pitch right there. We got superheroes. We got monsters. We got extreme 90s action from the comics in this book. You got horror elements. Great art. Great covers. It's not boring. It's not going to have a bunch of people sitting around eating and talking. This is going to be an action-packed, horror-filled series. Every issue is going to matter. So stuff is going to happen. All right, there's going to be costs, repercussions. You're not going to want to miss out on this. We've worked our butts off to tell just a kick-ass story. Aurelio's art is amazing. Do not miss out on this when we launch this tomorrow night, guys. Halloween night, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Do not miss out.
All right, and the link for the Kickstarters in the chat.
Yeah, it's on Nerdette's stream. And again, you don't want to miss out. Otherwise, you're going to be paying 2 or 3 times the value on eBay in 6 months' time.
Right. All right, man. Well, thanks for stopping by with us. It's always a pleasure to have you on here. Like I said, if you want to come on for any other reason other than just hawking your books, you're more than welcome to when you have free time. LK, you're also welcome to come on. I know you like to avoid this channel like the plague sometimes.
Yeah, I want to come back on. Yeah, because you guys talk about some fun comics. I'd like to take part in talking about those. It's like,
sure.
This is my schedule. I can't make it. Damn.
Like I said, we do Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 p.m. Zach and I talk about the books we're excited coming out, because that's the one thing we talk about. That you're talking about Wes, like the best books of the week. I try to me and Zach go through League of Comic Geeks. We go through and just try to find books that we think we're excited to read, because we always hear about people shilling books. It just comes up so shallow, so forced, or it's the opposite, or everything sucks. Buy my book here. Like I said, we do that on Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Central, and we just try to find books that we're excited to read. And then Thursday's a follow-up stream, same time. Said if you can work it in, you're more welcome to join us on Thursdays. Even if you don't have a book to show off, just like a book that maybe you read, and well, that's it. And then you can also plug your book again.
Yeah, I'll try to.
Yeah,
definitely over the next 30 days, you're going to be plugging like crazy to get that
and
Kickstarter.
Plus, Eric's required to be here on Thursday, so if you want to pop in on Thursday, you're welcome to.
Appreciate the invite, guys. Yeah, I want to try to come back. Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
All right. This is Dolan Waddick, the co-creator of Unholy Nightmare issue number 1. Go pick it up. Otherwise, you're not cool.
Yeah.
Good night, guys.